Good morning, Tempo Freaks. Lexiat here. It's Friday, and they made history last night. There were all kinds of interesting things about the blowout of the LA Sparks at Coca-Cola Coliseum last night. Of course, Marina Mabrey tying the all-time scoring record for a single game in WNBA history, which is 53, with Aja Wilson and Liz Cambridge. They have that record also. I was so annoyed at the end of the game, like a lot of people that were in the arena. Why can't we let Marina continue to play and try and beat that? Well, part of the reason was, and this was found out at the press conference after, and noticed by some people, that Marina was very tired. She kind of was overplayed in the end just to kind of get to that point. And then when she got there and the way she was feeling, she actually asked Sandy to take her out. Sandy was going to leave her in, but Marina tapped out. Marina is kind of like, yeah, I'm exhausted. I put in some major work tonight. I put in 53 points and I did it. I was annoyed though. I was annoyed. In some ways, I was like, why are you taking her out? No, the fans are still chanting, we want Marina. We want Marina. It's a crazy situation. In some ways, you're so close. Like you're right there. You just need one more point. You just need one more three, and you'll be breaking records and being the sole owner of those records. Is there some sort of weird WNBA gentlewoman's league promise that is like, I do not want to take this record from you. I'd rather tie it with you and we can stand together next to each other. Is there some sort of thing like this? I don't think so. Is there? There's like competitors want to be number one. Competitors want to be on the top. Competitors want to be the pedestal on top of the next level. And Marina had that chance to put herself a head and shoulders above Aja Wilson and Liz Cambridge. She had the chance to go above and beyond the 9 3-pointers made that she tied last Friday, and then she tied again last night. One more three, Marina. Yeah, I know they were guarding you up, and you were tired. And the shot selection and the shot quality was pretty bad the last couple threes you tried to get. But I'm just saying, when you're that close, I've realized this with some of the Raptors over the last couple of years. They don't care about their stats in the game and don't realize what they're doing until after the game. There's so many triple doubles that both Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes left on the table because they just didn't know exactly how close they were, and they just didn't go get the last little bit. They need to talk to Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was a master of this. Kyle Lowry, in his years on the Raptors, almost a decade, he was a triple-double hunter. Yeah, he would go and try and get those triple doubles. He would go and try and get those stats of notice, those stats that go in the record book. You know, can we help it that Pascal got robbed of a couple of triple doubles because the NBA score person came back and stole rebounds from him the next morning in the official score? That did happen. I'm just saying, your playing career is a short period of time. Your peak is a short period of time. And, when you're at that place, you want to go get everything you can at that time, including the money, Mamu, including the money. You want to get the money while you can get it, Jerry Maguire. But when you can get you have these opportunities to get these kind of records and get these kind of things, you need to go get them. I don't care. Was there some sort of little WNBA bug in somebody's ear saying, don't let Marina beat the record? Don't let Marina beat the record because we don't want the team from Toronto, the expansion team, to hold a bunch of huge WNBA records, not even 20 games into their history or existence. Was that part of this too? I don't know. I get all windersty when these kind of things are so close and I can see that they could have happened and they should have happened, but they didn't. Like, why? Why would they stop? Why can't she go ahead and get 54 points or 55 points or 56 points on the 10th made three that breaks that record too and says, yeah, I'm the first woman in WNBA history to hit 10 3-pointers in one game. There is all right there. Is right there on the table. Why can't y'all grab this last little bit? Why can't y'all be Kyle Lowry hunters? Why can't you be like Kyle Lowry and say, I want this record. I'm going to get it, Sandy, damn it. You know, why were the other teammates not getting her just the ball? Some of they were still mixing it up. They're still playing right, as Sandy Brondello said after the game. And in some ways, look, that was an ethical 53. There's nothing like Bam Adebayo in what Marina Mabrey did last night. She did not force her 53. It came naturally. It's so annoying. I want this for culture. I want this for tempo history. I want this for bringing us up in prominence in spotlight in the league. Where Marina's face is on the front page of ESPN's WNBA page this morning. They barely recognized us or talked about us at all this year, but there she is right there. And everybody's saying she's definitely an all-star now. Oh, she doesn't play in the all-star game. This WNBA all-star game is messed up and ain't right. She better be there. Don't worry about the fan votes. The other half of it is selection. And while Marina Mabrey is at the top of the list, just in case the fans don't come through. Although the fans, not just of Toronto, but WNBA fans are coming out in droves, and they're starting to vote for her like crazy. Yeah, they're trying to get her there. The whole league, because everybody can see this greatness. Everybody can see what she did last night, and they're with it. They're not hating on it. She's played for enough different teams around the league that they love it too. She's entertainment. She's awesome. She's the epitome of an all-star. You know, some people were confused because they heard the Connecticut Sun fans chanting for her and cheering for her last Friday when she's torching their own team. And like she's getting pops and huge crowd reactions from bombing her threes in Connecticut, the team that was the city was cheering for her last year. There's no hate here. In some ways, she's a lightning rod. In some ways, some people in the league don't like her, but a lot of people that are fans and people around the league like her. Yeah. I don't know. I was like, I should have been more happy after that game ended last night, but I felt like cheesed. I was a little cheesed. I was a little annoyed because we were so close. Not only were we close with Marina's personal accolades, the whole team was close to breaking the WNBA scoring record for all-time points scored in a game. Now, they still did technically kind of break it. The record is 127, but it's in overtime. And this is my WNBA Redditor, Tempo Redditor of the day. It is Kerfuffles. And the tempo has been put out on Blue Skies by Richard Cohen. He says 125 is also the highest team scoring total in WNBA history in a game ending in regulation. So they scored the most points any WNBA team has ever scored in its 30-year history. Last night, the Tempo scored 125 points in regulation in 40 minutes, as Cass put it last night. That is a WNBA record on the down low. Even though they didn't get the most points scored total in a game ever in the history, they could have. They could have. There was some time at the end there where somebody could have put another three or a basket or something, tied it at least, tied the overall. Because in some ways, that's what I'm saying. These things are impressive when we get them, and they go in the record books. And that's why I wanted to do this. And that's why I was like, man, there's so much food left on the table. It's spoiling now because we didn't eat it. We could have gone and ate another plate, Marina, in the Tempo, and y'all could have put head and shoulders above the rest and been in the history books right away, put Toronto Tempo on the map right away. Are there any league office story writing officials who are saying, no, we can't have this? We can't have Marina just be the single game scoring leader by herself. She can't pass Wilson for this. Whoa, that would be shocking. That wouldn't be right. I would love it. It would be perfect. It'd be amazing. And in some ways, that's what cheesed me. That we left this stuff on the table. It's right there. We could have done this, ladies. We could have done this, Marina and Sandy. But you ran out of gas. And I get that. It makes me feel better about it that Marina signaled to get taken out instead of Sandy just taking her out. It makes me feel better about it. But man, nothing's guaranteed. And a lot of people are saying there's no way she'll get that close to it again. Bullshit. She's in a zone right now. And listen, she got 9 threes last Friday. She got 9 threes last night. You look at the pattern. You think she's not going to be flirting with stuff? Now, granted, we don't play the Sparks again for the rest of the year. But I don't know. Maybe she can do this against another team. Maybe she can. I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, I made the prediction that she's going to break the three-pointers made record before the end of this year and get 10. She was so close to it last night. She was so close to it. I wish she had, because when these kind of things come through so quickly, it makes me look good, saying stuff like that. I don't know. I think that she can get around 50 again. I don't think this is an anomaly. In some ways, it's the type of scorer she is. Like she said after the game, she scores in bunches. And well, this is the other thing, that the reason why she did 53 was she started right from the start of the game. She got the first basket. So it was a motion shot in the lane, which was dialed in, and then she was scoring from all over the place. The announcer's saying Marina's scoring from everywhere, not just from three. She's driving, she's midi, she's taking the regular three. Now she's taking the logo three. She's all over there. There's another aspect to this that nobody's really talked about yet, but I thought about it deeply last night. That this in some ways is like an inverse with Kobe's 81. Yeah. The Sparks are the WNBA team for LA that are, that's the Lakers WNBA kind of nations team, right? Well, Marina getting back for the city of Toronto against LA for, crimes committed or things that happened in the past. Kobe's 81, the Dodgers in the World Series last year. Yeah. Maybe the powers that be are like, no, we can't have Toronto have a record over Los Angeles. No, we can't have that. Well, Marina, good job. You posted the most points in WNBA history against the Los Angeles team. And in some ways, I'm going to take this as a little bit of a get back for Kobe's 81. Everybody always talking about Kobe's 81 this, Kobe's 81 that. I want to talk about this in the other way too. Can we diss the LA Sparks forever now and rub that in their face, just like people have used it against the Raptors for a couple decades now? Can we do the same thing? Can we do this? Are we allowed to make fun of the LA Sparks like people have clowned the Raptors for Kobe's 81 for years to come now? I'd love that. It would have been even more of a clown on them if she had gotten one more point and had the single record over by herself. Is that selfish? Is the WNBA just a group of supportive women that just wants to hang out and be competitive, but also, hey, we can share this record. It's fun time, sunshine and rainbows. Fuck that. Get the fucking record. Get it above, ahead and above, because there's nothing guaranteed. Will you ever get to that plateau of 50 again? Man, Rena, I think you will. But you were right there. Why wouldn't you take it? Why wouldn't you get it? Why wouldn't you do it? Do it for the culture. Do it for the history. Do it for the Canadian heritage moment. Marina Mabrey scored 54, 55, or 56 points against the LA Sparks on June the 25th. 2026, and she is the sole owner of the WNBA's most points scored in a single game in the entire history of the league's history. We could have had that, but instead we're going to tie with the record, and we'll sit next to it, next to names like Cambridge and Wilson, instead of just taking it. I don't know. I'm annoyed by that. I'm cheesed by that. And this is just a mini Friday freak out on this subject. I was going to freak out worse if I didn't know that Mabrey asked herself to get out of the game. I was going to freak out worse this morning. I'm sure a lot of people in the crowd were honored to be there for the witness to see this. But also at the same time, at the end, they were like, we want Marina. We want Marina. Yeah, we all do. I'm at home saying it too. We want her back. Fans of other teams are saying, we want Marina. We want Marina. Put her back out there. Sandy, what are you doing? There was tons of time. If this had been managed better, if y'all were Kyle Lowry hunters, y'all would have figured it out and you would have hit the marks that you needed to, just like Dance Dance Revolution. Yeah. If y'all really thought about it. Marina did say this after the game, which was hilarious, and it's totally true. You know, our arena doesn't have any scoreboards, no stats boards, so I don't really know what I'm doing out there. I'm just out there playing. I'm in the flow. I'm just hitting shots. And my sister Mickey, she's in the corner. She's telling me what's going on during the game. Marina, you need 3 more and you tie the WNBA record. What? Really? Tie the WNBA record? I'm just out here playing basketball. Woo! I'm just playing basketball. You need 3 more. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need to get stat boards in Coca-Cola Coliseum. If anything, just to go for big records and know where you're at and keep it on track. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. I don't know. In some ways, it's annoying the fans that there's no stat boards. And now we may have had a instance last night where the stat boards not being there may have affected getting WNBA records. I mean, seriously, can we figure this out? Can we get just some sort of thing? Can we go and dismantle part of the NOAA system from OVO Center and use it as a scoreboard? The Raptors don't need this. Come on in, Tempo ladies. This is NOAA. Yeah, don't get too excited. NOAA's annoying. Yeah, NOAA will tell you exactly what you're doing wrong, but it won't help you. You still won't be a good shooting team. So, yeah, we've decided this is something that Nick Nurse brought here. We don't really give a shit about it. It's kind of a hunk of junk. It's depreciated in value. It's been here for a few years. It didn't help Malachi Flynn. Okay, all right, let's go. Let's take it down. Get that crowbar. Wrench that. You can have this whole panel here, and we'll put this in Coca-Cola, and this will be a stat board. Yeah, we can rewire it. We can reprogram it, make it look like a stat board. Yeah, we're done with this NOAA board. We were going to throw it in Lake Ontario a couple years ago, but we forgot to. Yeah, you go ahead. Take it. Just take it down. Yeah. No, we don't need anything. No, you know what? That's nice. You want to give us free entry to medieval times for a month? Okay, that's great. But yeah, we don't really need that. But yeah, just take the NOAA board. We just want it the fuck out of here. Yeah, and this is great. You can just carry it across C&E grounds over to Coca-Cola and put it in. I don't even think you need to get anybody. Just get like 5 people and we'll all carry it. Yeah, like a picnic table. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, this is a fun reaction. Yeah, I'm just happy they won 9-9, 500 record, back in the 8th spot in the playoffs for the WNBA, sitting in that 500 record, looking like badasses. Tempo, expansion team. Nobody expects anything from us, is what Marina said. We're an expansion team. And it's kind of like there's no pressure. No one expects anything from us. Well, we've seen Marina as the number 1 option, the number 1 person on the Tempo this year. This is something that fans of hers for years that have seen her career in different places are overjoyed about because they're like, she never got the chance in Chicago. She never got the chance in LA. She never got the chance in Connecticut to do this way. And it brings tears in my eyes to see Marina just unleashed. Yeah. There's people that are feeling like this about this, and they love the whole idea in what we're doing up here and allowing Marina to be as absolutely Marina as possible. Not holding her back. There's no politics. There's no depth chart. There's no somebody else that's doing something. And this is this. You know? It's an awesome thing. And it's fantastic for sports history. Chelsea Light in the post-game press conference saying to Marina, do you realize that you're one of a few basketball players in this city to score over 50, around 50 points, 54 for Fred VanVleet is what she brought up. She brought up Fred. And Fred being the all-time leading scorer for the Toronto Raptors franchise with his 54. Yeah, it's one more than Marina. But that's still, there's only a certain amount, a handful of professional basketball players in the city of Toronto that have scored 50 plus in the history of basketball. And Marina Mabrey's name is on that list now. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You know, they started Conde again, and it was way better this time. Way, way better this time. She looked a little bit more organized and with it and on defense, and of course, dialed in and hitting her three too, which was awesome. All right, let's do the reaction. We'll do the box score. We'll look at the stars of the game. We'll do the whatchamacallit, the whatchamacallit. We'll do the straight goods on Canadian goods. We'll do the Raptors Redditor. We did the tempo Redditor already. You know, we'll do all that stuff. We'll get all that stuff done. So yeah, let me just I'll start with the comments in just a sec. I just got to get the box score up here. I don't know how I lost the box score in the middle of all this stuff. All right, here we go. Trevor J, his words of wisdom. Life is short. None of us know how many pages are left in our stories, so be kind now. Don't wait for the perfect moment to say I love you. Let go of unnecessary arguments that won't matter later. Give the compliments you usually keep to yourself and notice the people who feel invisible in the end. Kindness always matters more than pride. Yeah, I would say a lot of that is very, very true. Very, very true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing guaranteed about tomorrow. You should have gone and taken these records. There's nothing guaranteed on anything in this world tomorrow. You know, nuclear war is threatening. There's all kinds of really bad things that bad people are planning that nobody wants. We got to, you know, take it, live like there's no tomorrow. And that's why I think yesterday, man, I would do things just slightly different because in some ways I'm a Toronto stan. I'm a Toronto fan. I'm for my city. And I want my city to have accolades. I want my city to be sole owner of major records with Marina Mabrey in a Toronto Tempo jersey. Yeah, we can't go back and change it. Hopefully the lessons learned. You know, I would love somebody to talk to them about Kyle Lowry and what he used to do. I feel like we've messed up on this with talking to Scotty and Pascal and telling them how to do it. Can we talk to Marina about it, though? Can we talk to the Tempo players about it? Like, if you're close, go ahead and get it. Get that extra rebound. Get that double-double, Lori Yusketa. Get that extra point, Julie Alamont, so you get that double-double with assists and points. Yeah. You know, get those accolades. Don't leave them half-assed like I got 9 points and 10 rebounds. No, go get them. Seriously. Have a little mini goal, you know, and get the accolades, get the glory. Seriously. There's no tomorrow. That's what Trevor's saying right here. There's no tomorrow. Go do it now and be nice to people while you do it. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying the Tempo making so much history with players. Mabrey, 32 minutes, 53 points, and 9 threes. And Julie has the most efficient double-double in WNBA history. She's the first player in WNBA history to record 10-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 10-plus assists, and 100% field goal and 0 turnovers. Yeah, Julie made history last night, too. Julie is added to the list of like 4 people that have 14 assists, 0 turnovers in WNBA history. Is very, very efficient. In fact, Julie got the chain last night. Marina tied the most points scored in the league ever, and she didn't even get the chain. The last 2 times she's had these amazing 9 3-pointer games. She didn't get the chain last week either. They gave it to Temi. This week, they gave it to Julie for 14 assists, 0 turnovers. And after the game, Sandy and Marina talked about it. It's like Julie was very efficient. She set the pace. She was controlling things. She was just phenomenal. And, we got an insight into the connection between Julie and Marina. And they say that we're like buddies. We're duo. And we're like, I love my synergy with her synergy. Marina loves the great passing of Julie Alamont. Stan Van Gundy in the middle of the game said, it must be really fun to play with Julie Alamont. He said that middle of the game. I was like, yeah, it probably is pretty fun to play with her. Somebody who's a silver platter, somebody who's going to get you the ball in the right place for you to be successful. And that's a synergy. It's symbiotic. You don't have the assist person without the capable shooter to make the shots. This is why Scotty Barnes gets mad when the Raptors shoot so bad. Y'all are taking away my assists. Man, y'all need to make your shots. I'm giving y'all good passes. but messing up my assist totals. Well, Julie's worried about getting assists. Well, get it to Marina. She'll convert and you'll get the assists. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's just like a lot of things in nature. The assist to the shooter to the assists. And that's a very nice pairing. I think that was well crafted in the early architecture of the plans and schematics of building this team and expansion. It's like, well, we get Julie Elamon, man. That's a player that's going to be able to set people up, and she's a true point guard, and she's going to be setting people up. Well, how does that fit with other people in the league? Well, why don't we get Marina Mabrey and see how that works with her feeding her and her shooting the shots and her getting assists for Julie? Yeah, you could tell in the press conference after the game that there's a mutual respect, there's a mutual love for each other's strengths, and that those strengths feed into each other and they just make each other better. Yeah, Julie, Sandy made a note of this after the game. In the last few games, the Tempo's assist numbers have increased. That we're moving the ball around more. That we're getting more movement and better shots in our offense. Well, last night really was good for it. Seriously. The thing that the Tempo did last night to start the game in the first quarter was impressive to me. I've been watching basketball for a very, very long time. And, it's one thing for one player to start perfect, but for have the whole entire team play perfect for 10 minutes at the very beginning of the game is so freaking rare. I've never seen this before in the NBA. And to see it already with the Tempo at this point, it really shows that they're high level and they're really serious about competing, and they're really serious about improving, and they're really serious about making up for an appearance in Atlanta that was really kind of embarrassing in some ways. I mean, that's what they said after the game. Marina said the thing that happened in Atlanta was awful, and we wanted to show that we were better than that. Yeah, y'all really did with a vengeance. Y'all came in there, you didn't miss any regular shots, 3-point shots, or free throws for like the first 10 minutes of game. You were 100% across all the percentages. By the end of the first quarter, y'all were shooting 81% from the field. That's crazy. I've seen one player maybe be perfect from the start of the game, but to see all 5 of them playing perfectly from the start of the game, that's amazing. That is true craftsmanship. That is true skill level. And that is true determination. And that is true holding a standard of excellence and showing up after a game in Atlanta and showing this is what we want to do instead. This is a great way to do this. Y'all are so capable. You got some good shooters. The Raptors don't have good shooters in some ways. They can't get off to these kind of starts. This may be part of the recipe for y'all winning many games for the rest of the year is y'all got to jump on everybody at the beginning. Yeah, there's been a couple games in the last couple weeks where y'all have been behind by double digits and you came back and won. But that's not as easy as just kick the team's ass right from the start and never let them have breathing room near you and then just run roughshod wire to wire and get the W. In some ways, that is a winning formula for the Tempo. Is start perfect, play really well, shoot them out of the game with the threes right away, and they'll never catch up. Maybe this will only work against teams that are defensively stunted or not very good on defense, like the Sparks and some of the lower tier teams, but it won't work as well against the Aces or the Valkyries or the Dream. But that could be a key to the Tempo winning games is just get out and sprint from the start and kick the team's ass so bad they don't even have a chance to try and catch up. And 20 points becomes 30 points and the game's over. Like the 20-point lead becomes a 30-point lead or whatever. A 10-point lead, 20-point lead, 30-point lead. By the time you're in the fourth quarter, yeah, you won. You won. You ran them off the court. It's one thing. Marina set the tone, and she was firing and making everything right away. They diversified their offense. It wasn't just her. It wasn't a one-note kind of thing where it was just her. You had Conde chipping in threes. You had Yesketa hit a 3 here or there. You had Julie hitting her threes. It was a contribution all around. And then you had little things from like Isabel inside. You had, different little contributions in different places by all the Tempo to get this excellent output. And, in some ways, Marina doesn't flourish and get that 53 without the rest of her team playing at a very high level also. Because it's like, look, the Sparks couldn't do nothing right on defense yesterday. They couldn't cover nothing up, and we were making them pay with just open three-point shooters bombing and making those shots as soon as they got the ball, and that was awesome, man. Yeah, there's a lot of records in this. In fact, there were so many records or tying records or things that happened with the tempo last night. I'm gonna forget one of them. I know it because there's so many freaking things they did that were like record kind of things. It's crazy. It is crazy, man. Trevor's saying this: the tempo of the most points by WNBA team in regulation. Yes, we went over that. In some ways, some of this stuff, Trevor, it was so broadcast last night. In some ways, we don't really need to go over it because everybody knows. you know, it's crazy. Trevor's saying, so we find out why Mabry didn't go for the record because she was tired. Yeah, that annoys me in some ways, but I get it too. She put in major work. Let's look at the box score real quick because this will tell us something. So yeah, she had 32 minutes. In some ways, like, I don't know, you could have played more minutes in that game than just 32. You sat for 8 of the 40. Yeah, you could have played 3 more minutes somewhere in there and you would have had 35 minutes, and that may have been the difference right there. I don't know. In some ways, the goal is to win the game as a team and to build and play right in the culture and the system that Sandy's building. It's not to, break records and get Marina to get to 55 or something like that. Although, once again, I'll say it, if you can do everything and get the side quests also, do it. Seriously. If you can get there, you need to call Kyle Lowry, Sandy Brondello, and talk to him and his philosophy of all this. Because he would tell you, it's like there is a Venn diagram that circles around and says, yeah, Marina can get the accolades and the records, and we can still play ethically exactly how we're supposed to in the way that you want us to. We don't have to do a Bam Adebayo to get her these records. She's smooth and good like that, you know? But yeah, Marina, only 32 minutes makes me kind of think, yeah, could we have squeezed 30 minutes out of her somewhere in the whole scheme of the game at some point? I don't know. We'll never know. 53 points, though, in 32 minutes. That's insane. That's insane. I guess if you're getting 50 points in a WNBA game, you're going over the minutes per game because it's a 40-minute game, right? 53 points in 32 minutes. Wow, that's crazy. See, that's the other thing. A lot of these records have to do with overtime games. We did this shit in regulation. We did this in regulation. 7 of 28 from the field, 9 of 18 from 3. Man, if she had just made one more of those 3-point attempts, she would have the 10. That's what I'm saying. This leaving food on the table thing really bugs me. 10 for 12 from the free throw line. There were 2 free throws she missed. And she's so deadly at the free throw line. She makes one more of those free throws. Patrick Patterson, 54. She makes one more of those free throws. Patrick Patterson, 54. And she ain't sharing no record with Aja Wilson. I'm just saying, it's just so close. It was right there. I don't want to have no regrets in life. I hope that she doesn't have no regrets from not going for it a little bit more from the game last night. She seemed real happy and overjoyed with everything. But still, I'm like, come on, where's the Kyle Lowry mentality here? Where is it? 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, a plus 36. Wow. Wow. She is fun to watch. I think that even if you're not a fan of Toronto Tempo, even if you're just a fan of another team, you enjoy watching Marina Mabrey. She is fun to watch no matter which team you root for in the WNBA. And the other thing is she's really increased her value just in the last week or so. There's other teams now that are wanting her on their team. There's like teams that are, wanting to go for playoffs and stuff. And they're like, man, we need to get Marina on our team because she would do this and this for our team. So in some ways, she's getting a coming out party with elevating her stock around the league and being more coveted. God forbid she leaves Toronto, but there are going to be teams that will want to trade for her, guys. I'm going to say this right now because I'm already hearing the buzz around WNBA circles that people are like, man, we got to get Marina out of Toronto because she can be so good for our team. Man, I hate that. I don't want that. She's our Marina, and she's getting her ability to expand her wings and fly, or to expand her life and fly here in Toronto. And that's what we want it to stay. So the star of the game, otherwise, chain of the game, Julie Alamon. We talked about this 30 minutes, 13 points. She's my second star of the game, 4 of 4 from the field. It was really nice to see Julie aggressively take the threes and early too. She hit a three in the first 3 minutes of the game, part of the perfect start. And she even had a step back three like Marina later in the game, where she did a little step and step back and she confidently hit it. I love that. I think that in some ways, Julie is starting to get confident with the tempo and the situation with the expansion team. I really appreciate Hoop There It Is podcast, Amy Audibert and Lindsay Dunn for doing the interview with Julie Alamone. Even though it was awkward, Lindsay, you make things awkward when you're inviting yourself to her birthday party with her family and you say you're going to go to dinner with them. And then you're even awkward with Julie after the game in the press conference. Like, oh, I'm not going to ask Julie a question because she's like, what is that, Lindsay Dunn? Just chill, chill. But I love the fact that y'all gave her a chance to voice herself about her experience with Toronto so far and the expansion team. And she's very happy. In some ways, people were worried about Julie. She showed up and she showed cold weather and complained about it. She hasn't really been totally open with talking about her fit in the team and the culture and just things like that. But she was very open with it in this interview, and we could hear her talk about it. And yeah, she's fitting in. We found out that her middle name is Isabel, and that her and Harrison are twins because of that. Izzy calls Julie her twin because Julie Isabel Alamon is her middle name. So that's cool little bonding right there. And Julie, of course, is very close with some of the Euro players, especially Maria Conde. And well, she's taken to it and she's very much enjoying Toronto. She says she lives in a condo downtown facing the lake, and there's a pool right outside near her place. And she goes and hangs out at the pool. She's very much into getting tanned. She likes hanging out next to the pool and getting a tan in her extra time. Seems like she's enjoying herself. You know, another thing was when Lindsay was interviewing her, she brought up the MVP stuff in EuroLeague. And in some ways, Julie was like, you guys do pay attention to what I did over there and stuff like that. It was like, yeah, we're talking about it. The secret's out. What do you think we are? We're novices. We're not paying attention to what you did already. We're going to dig deep and do the research. So, you know, don't be showing up and not trying to score because we know you can. You're going to be just a pass player. I'm just passing everybody. Pass, pass, pass. I'm a point guard. I'm just going to pass, pass, pass. No, we need scoring. Sykes is out. We need to make up for Brittany. Her gone. And, you know, Julie taking the shots early and getting going early. More confidence builds a confidence. 4 out of 4 for the game by the end of the game. And not only that, she gets the second double-double in tempo history. Well, I don't know if you say the second or the third because Yusketa got us double-double last night too. So Isabel got the first double-double the other night in points and rebounds. And now we have 2 more double-doubles as of last night. And Julie Alamon, the first ever tempo player selected in the expansion draft and the first player ever assigned to our team, has got the first double-double with assists and points ever. That's right. 14 assists with 0 turnovers. This is high-level shit. This is John Stockton stuff. This is Steve Nash stuff. This is Muggsy Bogues stuff. This is really, really cool. 14 assists with 0 turnovers. As much as Marina was having a perfect night, Julie was having a perfect night too. And that shouldn't be overshadowed. And the Cobra chain going to Julie, I understand it. You know, Sandy was interesting in her post-game locker room talk before she gave the chain to Julie. She's like, yeah, it was Marina's night tonight. We got Marina, amazing, but it's going to be everybody has a chance to have their night tonight. I'm kind of like, really? No, man, let's have Marina have a night more often. it's like, I don't know if Maria Conde is going to be getting to 50. You know, come on now. Let's lean into our strengths here. But I get it. In some ways, it's a team, and we don't want to dote or make a superstar too big or greater than the sum of the parts. And that's really important to Sandy. It's a team, and we want to give credit all around, and we want to give people chances. And that's part of why they, maybe she didn't get totally the record, is because we have a team concept. You're supposed to move the ball around and take the best shot. Well, the best shots were there for Marina, and she was hunting too. She talks about how, the defense of the Sparks was not that good, and she can hunt for it. She can hunt for those spots, and especially in transition when she's coming up the court, she's looking to see where they're standing and where they're not, and she's going to find her little place, her little pocket to launch and make these amazing long threes from the Coca-Cola logo. This is so crazy, man. But yeah, Julie was awesome. 3 for 3 from 3, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 4 for 4 overall. Yeah, 13 points, 14 assists with 6 rebounds to boot. I mean, get 4 more rebounds. Kyle Lowry would have figured out a way to get those 4 more rebounds. He'd have a triple-double, Julie Alamo. I know, this is selfish stuff. This is Ricky Davis kind of stupid, selfish stuff. But I don't know. Call me somebody who likes the accolades, likes the glory, likes the sound of the Toronto Tempo has the highest leading scorer in a single game in WNBA history. That just sounds prestigious and sounds awesome. Maybe the powers that be didn't want Toronto to have that record. 3 steals and 1 block, plus 31 for Julie. Yeah, she had a perfect game, honestly. And, Marina's very effusive and honest about this doesn't happen without my teammates. This doesn't happen without my teammates. She gave all the credit in the world to them. All right, we got the Infamous 6 coming in hot here, y'all. Good morning, Infamous. How are you?
Good. I'm fine, thank you, Liz. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's Friday. It's the weekend. It's the summer. And, we are riding high on this win. It's fantastic to be 9-9 and be in the playoffs still with the WNBA. We got to keep building off of this. So
wonderful win. But before we get into it,
all right, the trivia.
I got a trivia question for you.
All right.
Okay, there was a song that came out, WWE song, and it was an intro music that was used for Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
The song was "I'm a Real American."
Yes.
Can you name me the tag team that song was originally made for?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Is that the question? Is there 2 parts?
Yes, that is the question, sir. Go ahead.
Well, that would be the All-American Express, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, that were managed by Captain Lou Albano at that time at the first WrestleMania.
You are correct. Another reason for me to hate Hulk Hogan. But anyways.
No, I mean that. Listen. I get why they had that song for them first, but I get why they leaned into it and gave it to Hogan at a certain point too. But real ones know that. Yeah. Like if you own the original wrestling album, they'll say that on the wrestling album because that wrestling album had all the songs, and then in between they had like Mean Gene and Jesse the Body like talking to each other, and like they said like. Derringer, Jesse Ventura gets mad. He said, Derringer can suck eggs, making a song for 2 guys like Wyndham and Rotunda. Those guys are losers. And so like it's all in the middle on the album, which makes it easy to remember for that. And then they had the Hulk Hogan theme was actually another song on the album, which was like that dun 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 Hulk. I love that album. I still have it on cassette. Don't go messing with a country boy. Don't go messing with a country boy. Don't mess with a country boy.
Yes, I remember that one. Did you have the second? Did you have both albums?
Pile Driver.
Okay.
It was called Pile Driver, remember? And they had Coco Beware sang the song Pile Driver.
I remember the video.
Yeah, there was.
On
MTV, Much Music. It was probably on both. And Vince McMahon was out there working on a construction site. Like he's had a sledgehammer. He's trying to like act like he's one of the guys. I'm all tough and strong too, like Ken Patera. Anyway.
Yes.
All right. Let's get did I pass the trivia?
You were good, man. I knew you would get it right away. I had a feeling.
It's really hard to stump me on my subjects that I really know a lot about, and a few of them are music, wrestling, and basketball. Those are 3 that I really know a lot about. So, all right, let's go, Infamous. All right, let's talk about MABREY. Come on now.
Maybe. Okay. This is my thing. What more can be said? History making, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what? Mabry got our payback for the 81 against
That's
Kobe.
What I'm thinking a little bit.
Thank you. I have to give her applause. We got her a little bit of revenge for that 81 against Kobe. Yeah. That's one of the things I thought about. Now, this was also the second time, if you notice, that our coach compared her to Diana Taurasi. Yeah. Second time she's done it.
She did say that after the game, and Marina got a little blushy and kind of like touched and kind of like this is the thing though. Sandy said this different though. Last week when we beat Connecticut in overtime, she said that was Taurasian. Like it's like, but this time she said that was better. That was the best performance I've ever seen any player of my life I've coached. And she coached Diana Taurasi for 10 years. That's what she said last night. And that's what made Marina go crazy. Yeah. And, you know, even when Marina was in the press conference talking in the initial first questions, you could look at Sandy sitting in the middle of them, and she's looking over at Marina like a proud mom, just like very much just like, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud. She's beaming with pride, just like crazy. You could read it all over her face. And Marina is just like kind of like, you know, I've been kind of a fuck up at times, but wow, am I killing it right now?
And you know what? Marina's very honest because she said, you know, she gave respect to her teammates, which I love.
Yeah.
And she also gave respect to her coach by saying, listen, she's giving me the ultimate green light.
Yeah.
Green light. And she's just like, hey, you know what? That's when the coach believes in you.
Yeah.
Believes in the process, believes in your talent.
Yeah.
And when you have the coach behind you, it's kind of like similar to how Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, with the Raptors.
And Darko. With Darko. Yeah.
There was another part to it that I like what she said. She said, last year, I know I had a bad year in Connecticut. I had a bad year last year. And, you know, I took the Unrivaled League and Lunar Owls experience to kind of get more serious. And that's part of the reason why I had that Lunar Owls game that was the leading scorer in Unrivaled history.
Unrivaled history, yes.
And now she's like, I've just carried that momentum into what I'm doing with the tempo. And it's really like a rededication to doing things the right way, is what she described it to.
And, loved it.
And I think that they find that like on this team with Coach Brondello and the level she is, and then like the professionalism around the whole group that is involved with the tempo right now, they're really holding each other accountable. And this is part of the reason why they're not a normal expansion team. Because normally expansion teams are kind of like, we're all new and we're all fighting to make a name on this team. And there may be selfishness. There may be kind of like people that aren't really jiving and working with each other right because of that kind of stuff. And Brondello has the culture, and the thing is like, look, this is the way it is. I'm setting everything. And y'all just need to trust me and do what I'm saying. And also at the same time, because these are professional women that really care about doing it right and getting it right, they're thriving with the guidance and the leadership of Sandy. And then they're also keeping each other self-accountable. And I think that Marina's like, she's a work in progress. She's always thinking about the different ways that she can do it a little bit better and do it more ethically or do it right. And she's doing that. It's awesome.
Correct. Awesome. Now I gotta go. I'm not gonna jump on my soapbox for a quick minute.
Okay,
I know this might piss off some people, but I'm gonna be. I have to speak from the heart.
Speak your voice.
Listen. Somebody stated in the comment section that I was reading that say that why did she remove her with 1 minute left? And then the response was, was class. We had to show class.
No,
I said F the class.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want class, go to damn fucking ballet. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have kept her in there for that record. I don't care what anybody says. I literally threw my remote at the TV when she got taken out.
I know. It's one of the most bizarre things. It's like, we're winning. We're going to rout this team. We're getting accolades, but we're still kind of dissatisfied with the game. Like, that's such a weird kind of energy. It's like, why are you upset?
Weird.
Like, oh, we're so pampered and so spoiled. We just want it all, you know? But like, we should be happy with what happened. But it's not the way it happened is what that was described. It was really Marina's like, totally exhausted and cannot go any further, and she is calling Sandy to take her out. I don't think Brondello would have took her out for the whole rest of the end of the game.
Man, listen, I look at it this way, Lex. Life is short. Yeah. You may never get an opportunity like this again. And people always talk about this Kobe mentality, the Mamba mentality. That is the definition
That's
of a Mamba mentality.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That isn't you empty the clip. You may never get this opportunity.
You may never get that close again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I get all that. I get all that. I mean, Marina, it was really up to Marina. And it was her that made the decision. So in some ways, I got to respect that. It was.
Yeah, I got to respect that. But you know what? You did say something. I do believe that she will get another shot at the 3-point.
Oh yeah, she's going to do this.
Yeah,
I think she's going to break this. She's going to break the all-time scoring record too. I think she's going to continue to get games like this. It just depends on the opponent and the settings and how her biorhythm is that day and whether she can be in the zone. But she's looking more and more in the zone. There's confidence breeds confidence. And, she's trending in the right direction. She got the green light with her coach. She's got the green light with her teammates. She doesn't have any of these obstacles or things in the way that possibly in her other stops in her WNBA career would have gotten in the way. She has the wide open freeway to just put the pedal to the metal and go get it.
Yeah. I just kept saying, man, you get it. Get it.
I wanted her too. I wanted her to do that. I mean, when Trevor said it at halftime on our Discord, Trevor said, I really want her to get 50. He called it, and he was right. And I know Trevor was so happy and excited when Marina got that 50 at that point. I was calling out for the 10 3-pointers. I was like, man, she could get the 10 3-pointers on this one. And that last three she took in the corner was so low quality, but they were really smothering her a lot. Yeah. And we have to think about this, Infamous. There's the other side of the coin with the Sparks. They're already getting embarrassed. Their coach is already pissed off and getting technicals and crashing out and looking all Karen like. And the other team don't want to be the aspect of like Sam Mitchell and Morris Peterson and Jalen Rose and all that side of the coin. They don't want to be on that side of history, right? So in some ways, we got to factor in that factor of like maybe the Sparks are really trying hard to cover her up completely so she doesn't get that record because they don't want to be in the record books in the wrong way.
I was hoping that she would do something to draw a foul and she would get it at the line. That's what I thought they were going to do. I thought she was just going to drive it to the basket, they foul her, and then she has to go to the line and get it.
I was hoping she'd go for it all because I really thought you need one more three. And if you get one more three in this last 2 minutes of the game, you will break both the records.
Yes, that would have been so nice. But you know what? I'm still happy for her.
Oh, of course.
We're still happy, still proud.
This is the thing. Some people can act like this is a once in a blue moon thing. No. The action and the settings and the things for this to happen can come back around. And it may not be for the rest of the season, but damn for sure, if we got to play the Sparks next year or a certain team that's not up to snuff on defense, Marina can go for this again.
I hope so. Can I transition to the draft?
Sure. And then we're going to move on.
What point am I on?
Sure.
I'm Infamous 6. Am I in 5 or something?
I don't know. I have no idea, but I don't have the clock.
I'll wrap it up quick. Okay, so just to touch a little bit on the draft, if I may. Bobby at the end of the season stated that they were looking to do two things. They were looking to either get more offense or double down on the defense. Like I said on this channel, I was a strong believer in the best player available. Remember, I came on and I stated like, hey, get the best player available. I do believe strongly that we did get the best player available at number 19. I mean, what do the Raptors covet? We covered character, somebody who's a gym rat, room for growth, high IQ, switchable players, and a player that can play in an emotion offense. And I think this is one thing I do trust the Raptors for is drafting. I may have my issues in other areas, but drafting I will always trust them with.
I'll agree with this, and I'll even go so far as say I think they draft the best player available at 19 and at 50 because the things I'm hearing about Jaden Bradley are very interesting. But I want to offer what you just said. I love the press conferences yesterday with the two young rookies coming in. I think that Alan Graves is a very interesting person. I think this is hilarious. In some ways, this is such a juxtaposition, kind of ironic kind of thing that you got this guy up there sitting with his mop ahead, looking like just a fun party dude, like looking like he was an extra on the movie Superbad. And
Jack Harlow, he's Jack Harlow.
Well, I don't like that comparison because he's not as cheesy as Jack Harlow, I would say. And also, like the dude's cooler than Jack Harlow. He looks more like I said, what I just said. Anyway, getting off track. I would say this. I think the most important quote I heard from Alan Graves yesterday, which was hilarious, was I have heard that I am the analytics darling. He said that, and he said it in such a Cajun way. He said that in such a Cajun way. I was like, in some ways, you saying it like that, and he didn't realize. He said, I didn't even know I was the analytics darling. I just play the way I play, right? So this man plays naturally, ethically the right way, because, you know, if you really dig into his analytics and his numbers, you'll see that he has a certain weird, like really efficient rebounding. Like he has a really crazy like rebound rate for like things. And I also love that, like in his interview, he said a lot about chasing loose balls down, like getting rebounds, chasing loose balls down. This is what he's going to come to do for us. And I think that's just hilarious. Like it's so funny. It's like he's not trying to do the things to get the analytics numbers. He's naturally gets the analytics number. And he walked into there. He did the combine just like everybody else. And then at the end of it, he's like, whoa, man, you're the analytics darling of the thing. He's like, I didn't even know that, bro. Apparently, I'm the analytics darling. And the way he said it, I was like, that dude's hilarious, man. That's like,
he said he has a very infectious personality.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's just the whole idea of like, this is ironic. This man's the analytics darling, and this dude comes off like slacker vibes, like it said, super bad vibes, like McLovin. But also at the same time, the dude is just inherently really badass and efficient and analytics darling. I think that's just such a funny kind of juxtaposition. It's like normally people that are like playing right, they're very like, you know, kind of stodgy. They may be a little bit like uptight. Yeah, I really care about my stats and I have to get my stats exactly right. This guy's not like that. He's kind of like, yo, I'm living life. I'm happy. But yo, I heard I'm the analytics darling, y'all. Whoa, yeah. It's so crazy. It's like, what the fuck is this guy? It's like, he's like, I'm the analytics darling, y'all. Whoa. It's like, that shit made me laugh so hard because it's like, it just don't make no sense. Normally guys that are like all about, he doesn't even know his stats. He's just naturally that dude. It's awesome.
Right.
It's awesome.
Right. That's all I got for today. Like, I'll touch on the Kawhi situation and something else another time. But
I'll just ask you real quick. One answer. Kawhi, yes or no?
No.
Okay. All right. And I know why no. I mean, we can flesh it all out and know why. Now, people may be surprised with my answer. My answer is yes. But there's caveats on it. There are caveats on it if I'm saying yes. Because I honestly, there's a really weird storyline we could write with this. But either way, Infamous, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for calling in.
Fantastic day. Love to hear from you.
Yeah, man. And appreciate your takes. And it was a fun call. And yeah, I am a real American. Fight for the rights.
I'm going to touch on the Kawhi situation and Raptor fans on my next call. I got to go in on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Have a great day.
I think I look at it a little different. We'll put the poll up and see how people are thinking right now. Actually, this is a good idea. All right, Infamous. Thank you. Bless. Let's go tempo.
Go tempo.
All right. Awesome call. Great to hear Infamous's 2 cents on various subjects having to do with basketball here in Toronto. And well, yeah, I'm going to do a poll real quick. It's come out that Kawhi Leonard is using us as somebody to get money off of possibly the Clippers and Steve Ballmer. He's named us and the Spurs as two teams that he said that he would be willing to sign an extension with if he got traded to. Now, in some ways, this is kind of interesting. What do those two teams have in common? They're up and coming. They have young cores. They have a lot of promise. I mean, look at what the Spurs just did. It kind of makes sense that Kawhi would say that about the Spurs because it's easy. He could go back to the Spurs, maybe mend the wounds and the rift, and like right along with Wemby with their next championship. because it's pretty much fish in a barrel. The Spurs are going to win a championship in the next 3 years. I think that that's pretty much shooting fish in a barrel. And Kawhi would add to that. In some ways, it would be an interesting redemption arc. How long ago did he win a championship with the Spurs? If he came back there and won a championship with the Spurs and Wemby, there would be a lot of healing for San Antonio people. And in some ways, it would have the same effect here also. That's the crazy thing. Now, I know a lot of people don't trust him. I know that a lot of people are like, he's broke. He's always hurt. He's going to be a waste of time. He's going to disrupt things. But if we go by the track record and we think about what it was like for Kawhi when he was here, all the question marks we had then, and how it didn't really go that way, and we won a championship in the 1 year of Kawhi Leonard here, I would say he knows how to do things in Toronto where he'd be fine. He's got Dr. Alex, first of all. That's a part of it right there. You know, as much as Wemby is attractive to go play with in the possibility of championships, we could say the thing about Scotty Barnes too, and the young core of dogs and the dog pound that we got. The trade that I've seen that would get him here, I would do it because we don't lose anything that I really value, and we just upgrade that position of being the guy who takes over and does the scoring and does what Kawhi did for us in 2019. Last year, Kawhi Leonard had his most healthy season and since he left Toronto, and he was an all-star again. And he was undeniably one of the top 10 players in the league once again because he moved like that and he did things like that. That's the thing. We don't need Kawhi for 82. When we had Kawhi before, we only needed him for 50. And with the guidance and the load management of the innovation of vice president of the Raptors, Dr. Alex McKechnie, we know the proven track record here. It's not like Kawhi comes here and it's all new. He's been here. He knows what the drill is here, and he knows what to do to make Toronto win because he did it before. The cast will be totally different. The cast was more veteran-oriented, and there was a balance there in the leadership with Kyle and him on the floor. But it'll be a little different. It'll be Scotty's team. Kawhi, you're going to come here. And, well, you can be the closer. You can be the steady gun. You can be the big gun. You can be – in some ways, we got to argue that also Kawhi fits in with Colin and Scotty because in some ways they are all birds of a feather because they have giant hands and they steal the ball and they're defensive menaces. I love this idea. I think that this idea would be so amazing because in some ways, look, Kawhi going to LA in the first place was his own dumbass knuckleheaded move. And he's failed for it ever since. But the weird thing would be is if he came back here finally, and in some ways it's admitting that, you know what, I was wrong about Toronto. I was wrong about them not being good enough to repeat because you were, and you should probably admit that. Seriously, because you saw what the Raptors did. They had their best record as a franchise the year after you left. And if you had been around the bubble, yeah, we're getting by Boston. We're probably winning that chip that LA won in 2020. So it'd be a weird thing. It's like, okay, he didn't give us the repeat. He didn't return. He didn't return after the championship. He didn't let us have a chance to defend it. But let's delay this and him come back. And wow, we've got a whole young core that's different. And let's just see how he fits in with that and the whole defensive nastiness of it. I'm just saying, y'all probably, a lot of y'all do not agree with me because you're saying 67% and you're saying no. He's got to understand it's Scott's team. He's not trying to be a leader anyway. He can come in and do that. In some ways, Ingram was the same kind of leader for us in that way, where he's going to be the big gun, but Scotty's really the leader of the team. But Brandon's the guy who takes over at the end. Well, Kawhi can do that too, right? I don't know. I know some of y'all are like, man, he'll come here and he'll just be hurt. I don't know. We shouldn't have trusted him the first time, but he came through and he did exactly what he wanted to do here. You think he's been wasting his time in Clippers with players and teammates that were just not working as hard as the Raptors do under Darko? You can't see this from far away. He knows what it's like to play the Raptors right now. And if he added himself to it, he's thinking about that. I think that it's true that he's just using us for leverage right now. And none of this will come to fruition. But to me, I'm open to the idea. And I don't think it's a wrong thing because, listen, I've been neutral about Kawhi for a long, long time. You got to be neutral. You can't hate him because he made a dumb mistake for himself that was stupid, that did affect all of us. But he made that mistake, and he owns it. He should own it. You need to own that mistake, Kawhi, that you fucked up when you left the Raptors and you went to the Clippers. But you can come back around and see if this will still work at this point. This will be very interesting, seriously, if this does happen. The Raptors have signaled they have pure interest. They do have interest in this. I mean, you should. I mean, that's the move that won us the first championship. It would be so crazy if we come back around 8 years later and we do the same guy comes back and then we win our second championship with him again at that point. Just think about the storyline of that. Just think about the greatness of that. Just think about how Kawhi would probably make up for so many years of being hurt and just being a waste on Steve Ballmer's team. And then he'll get his third championship, and it's the second one with Toronto coming back, or it's the second one with San Antonio coming back. Just think about the storyline there. Just think about how that elevates him in the picture of the greats from his era. LeBron, Kevin, and Steph. Just think about that. There's a lot to this you got to think about with all of it. And if you're just blanketly saying, I hate Kawhi because he left, he didn't give us a chance to repeat, that's not the right attitude as far as I'm concerned. He's a mercenary. He's a mercenary for hire. And honestly, I don't mind trying to get that mercenary back on the team again, because I really do feel like he fits with our culture and our team, and he can do it. He could do it. It's just, I don't know if it's actually real. It could actually just be he's using us for leverage, as he did a couple years ago in the last contract negotiation with Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. I know this is a hot button topic, and a lot of people are not with me on this, but this is purely, truly how I feel. And I mean, I get it. Y'all's opinions are valid too. And in some ways, maybe it is too risky. Maybe lightning doesn't strike twice. Maybe it doesn't. But it's an interesting idea is what I'm saying. And in some ways, that's why I'm really thinking about it deeply. And I'm not just dismissing it right away. I'm not just dismissing it right away. Yeah, let's see. Trevor saying Mabry got interviewed by Sports Central after making history. Another aspect of this game last night that was really cool and important was it was shown nationwide in TV in the States. The Raptors get how many nationwide games a year? Maybe one. And often it's a game where we fumble and we look bad. And that feeds to perceptions about the Toronto Raptors. The one time the U.S. audience gets to watch us every year. Well, they were on Prime on Amazon yesterday. They didn't even have it on TSN last night, as Doug Smith lamented that we didn't even carry this game on the sports network in Canada last night. That's kind of a shame, honestly, because that was a historic accolade game. And if you didn't have your Prime account, well, you couldn't watch it. And that's kind of a shame. But on the flip side, the people in the States saw it. A lot of people in the States saw it. And the respect and the knowledge of the Toronto Tempo is a little bit more known with that kind of performance put on blast down there. So this is a flip. It's a flip. Nice to see Kayla Gray covering the WNBA as the sideline reporter on Prime with Stan Van Gundy. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, when Sandy said that she never seen nothing like that before, what Mabry had done. Yeah, Mabry got a little teary-eyed. That's a big deal. Sandy's been coaching this league a long time, and she's never had a player have that kind of performance ever in the whole time she's been coaching. And you honestly, you cannot hide the pride that she had beaming from her body sitting next to Marina after that game. I mean, Julie too. I mean, they're all saying that's crazy what you just did. The teammates were all saying that's crazy. I love the victory dances on TikTok, on Isabel Harrison's TikTok. They're hilarious. Man, she's got some moves, first of all. And it was hilarious seeing all the players kind of come through, clap through, and then Marina come in with the hat and the 53 sign. So awesome. I look forward to the victory TikTok on Isabel Harrison's TikTok account. I really do. I look forward to that after the game. You know, there's like a poll out on WNBA Reddit. Who's the prettiest, most beautiful WNBA player in the league? Now, some people would get mad covering this subject, but the consensus is Isabel. Seriously. Like they had like 5 or 6 players, and they had pictures of them. And in the comments section, everybody was selecting Isabel Harrison and saying she is the most beautiful to me. She's the most beautiful. They had her in there with Cameron Brink and a whole bunch of other players. And a lot of people, the fans are saying Isabel Harrison's the most beautiful player in the WNBA. I mean, I don't disagree. She's incredibly talented. And like I said, her appearance does not get across who she is on the basketball court. No, it don't. No, it do not. That's right. Smooth saying Gary Trent Jr. opting out of his Bucks deal. His next stop is Miami. Maybe Gary and Giannis like playing with each other. Maybe that's one thing that Gary Trent Jr. learned from going to the Milwaukee Bucks on that nothing contract, is that he kind of likes playing with Giannis. I don't know. Gary's been kind of washed the last year or so. In some ways, it's a risky move. I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens with Trent Jr. We always love him here in Toronto, and he's always been a good serving Raptor and somebody that I'm not going to diss. But we'll just have to see what happens here, right? Smith saying Kings have established an August deadline for DeMar to be traded. If no deal is made, he will be waived. Yeah, I've heard that too. That was something we kind of talked about in the last 2 days already. Seymour saying Gary, the construction worker, going to Miami to build high-rise skyscrapers and brick housing complexes. Yeah, man, you're being disrespectful to Gary now. But that's not far off. He's had some really bad shooting in the last little while, and you got this sad face for DeMar. Congratulations to Marina. Yeah. Marina. Let's go, Mabry. That's right. Let's go. Everyone loves Marina and Marine Land, aka Marina. That's not the right nickname for her. Marine Land was a horrible place. Everybody doesn't love Marine Land. No, especially the animals that live there. You know, the travesty and the awfulness of Marine Land, Seymour Pape, still lives on. You know, they shut that place down because it's inhumane to the animals. Well, the sorry ass owner, he left the animals in the pen after they shut it down, and they just live in there by themselves with nobody really taking care of them. It's actually awful. Absolutely awful. Just a really poorly run place for so long. And honestly, you know, those kind of theme parks that involve orcas and dolphins and, you know, sea animals like that, they never were right. Never were right. So yeah, I hate that nickname because I do not love Marine Land. I was duped when I was a kid when I went there. And they told me everybody loves Marine Land. I don't love Marine Land now that I know the truth. Blackfish. That's right. That's enough right there. That's right. Seymour saying I dropped 42 against R.H. King in high school, my career high. You dropped a 42? You dropped an original Pirtle? You dropped an original Pirtle once, Seymour? Whoa. All right, I'm giving this man a dunk for past accolades because I didn't know this about Seymour dropping a 42 in a game like that. Seymour, you're getting a dunk for, you know, a Kyle Lowry kind of thing right here. 54. You got that Patrick Patterson. But see, Marina, you could have got 54. Smooth saying this. What's your thoughts on Kawhi to Toronto stuff, Lex? I really honestly think this could work. He doesn't have that many years in the tank. It's not like we want him for long term. It's kind of like it's really whether Bobby is gauging whether it's time to go for the next chip. And I think it's close. I think that in some ways the NBA's changed because we're not valuing veterans to get deep in the playoffs. We have these young teams getting far now with the Thunder winning last year and the Spurs going all the way to the finals with a young core. It's almost like everything's fast tracked. So in some ways, the old rebuild of how you do things to get a championship is not the same as it was even when the Raptors did it in 2019. It's not the same. It's a little bit more expedited. It's going faster. And in some ways, it's also like the schedule shouldn't be held to like, okay, when you rebuild, you got to get it in like 5 or 6 years into the rebuild. I think this has changed. And in some ways, Wemby is part of it. You get really high-class talent and you get somewhere faster right away, like Wemby and the Spurs did this year. So I think that there is a fast track to winning NBA championships now all of a sudden that wasn't necessarily there until these past couple years. And in that kind of philosophy, people are saying, well, we need to build the Raptors up more to be able to actually compete for a championship because we're still a mid team. And ESPN tells us that. They don't even have us in the play-in next year in their predictions. They're assholes, and they're totally wrong. We're on the way up. We're in the elevator just like the Spurs. And because of that aspect, because in some ways we're building the team a certain way with Shed-like characters and Graves and Colin Murray-Boyles and those kind of dudes, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, we can do this sooner because our young guys have the high IQ AP class, a part of them that I've been talking about on this channel for a while. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if they really want to make that fatality last blow, the final move, like they did before when they traded DeMar and Jakob to San Antonio, this is it again. And it may be the same dude. That's why I look at this way. It's like, look, Brandon's awesome. Brandon's going to do certain things for us in that kind of area himself. But Kawhi's different because in some ways you can make the argument that Kawhi is a more well-rounded two-way player than Brandon. In some ways, he's going to add more of that dimension that we just drafted with Allen Graves and doubling down in the defense, along with that killer Terminator. I'm going to take over the game and score. And listen, I watched Kawhi closely last year because I've been paying attention to him since he left. And I'm like, most of the time, I'm like, yeah, he's hurt again. This year's a wash in the Clippers. He's been wasting his time. He made a total mistake when he left Toronto. But last year was the first year where I couldn't say some of those things because he stayed healthy and he played at an exceptionally high level. And a lot of people around the league looked at it. Some people said that he had his best year in the league ever last year. That's people that want to shame and put down the 2019 year of his career, which I believe is the best year of his career. But last year may have been one of his top 3 best years of his career. I'm just saying. So, you know, if he can come back and have another year of health like last year, especially with the guidance of Dr. Alex in a Raptors jersey, yeah, we're competing for a championship this year. And a package that I heard was Dick and Ingram and some first-round picks for Kawhi. I'd do that. I would do that because you may be getting your second Raptors championship next year, y'all. That's the whole thing on this. The way I look at this. He did it before. We shouldn't have doubted him. He came in, he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and he knew he was leaving. In some ways, that's even more like, wow, we shouldn't doubt him. Because the man he didn't have to help us win a championship. He could have gone and got us to the finals and say, yeah, we got the finals. Good job. And you got me for a year rental. I'm sorry, I'm peacing out. No, this man finished the job. And that's why I say the track record is there and we should trust him. That's the whole thing right there. He's an idiot. He listened to Uncle Dennis. He didn't take wine and dine. He messed that up. But if he comes back on a delay 8 years later and tries for the repeat with the new crew, y'all might be shocked by what happens, seriously. And the reinvigoration in the Raptors nation is going to be crazy, y'all. And it will be like that kind of feeling. Fred has described it in Unguarded podcast. That training camp, when they showed up in 2018, just a couple weeks after I met Fred in person in Kensington Market, he told me he'd never met Kawhi Leonard in his life. And even though he's his teammate all of a sudden, and they just traded DeMar, he said they walked into the training camp that year and they knew they were going to win the championship. They had that feeling already. I'm just saying, you have Leonard at OVO Center and Scotty and Colin and RJ and Emmanuel show up. There may be that kind of feeling again going into training camp because just like Marina Mabrey, a player that's powerful and that can do stuff like that instills confidence in the rest of the team, and they play at a whole other level. That's part of why Magic and Bird elevated their teammates. That's why LeBron elevates his teammates, is because they give a certain level of confidence above and beyond. That's part of what the uptick was with Brandon this year. Scotty talked about it on Twitch last week, saying it's like, man, Brandon coming to our team really just made us have a powerful weapon, and it just made us better. In some ways, it took the load of burden of responsibility off Scotty in certain ways so that he could be more like himself and also be able to operate and be the most effective Scotty Barnes. That's what I'm saying, y'all. He will instill in a crazy amount of confidence in guys that are already super confident. They already go above and beyond. And, you know, even though this core on the Raptors is not the veteran core of Gasol, Green, and Ibaka and Lowry. This team has guys that are kind of got that elements of leadership and stuff. It's just that they're younger at this point. I'm telling y'all, in some ways, I'm selling y'all on it. We're 50% now. 50% of y'all are like, yeah, I would do this Kawhi thing. Because getting a second championship sounds good, doesn't it? I'm telling you, if Kawhi goes to either San Antonio or Toronto, he's getting another championship. He's getting another championship. He won't do it in LA. They won't get it right. Because this is the thing. Kawhi can't make the culture. Kawhi can't make the team building right because he's not the GM. He's not the coach. And these other teams are failing. They're not like Bobby and Masai before. They don't know what they're doing in LA with the Clippers. They built a fancy new bathroom cathedral arena. You know, Steve Ballmer can throw money every which way. It doesn't mean that they know what they're doing with their money and getting anywhere. Russell Westbrook and James Harden and all the other ancient players that they put with him in the last few years, Chris Paul, Brook Lopez, whoever, just name them all. The laundry list. No, the Raptors, once again, are something that Kawhi needs just as much as we need him. Because he needs the culture. He needs a team that's actually run right. He needs a team that's got a coach that's a badass. He needs a team that's got the things all set up. And he just is the last ingredient to jump in and do this the right way, just like he did in 2019 when we won the first time. That's what I'm saying right there. That's the way I look at it. And you guys know I'm not totally a forgiving person for people that slight our team. And I don't really feel like Kawhi slighted our team too bad. He's definitely not Vince. He's definitely not Chris Bosh. It turned his back on our team totally like this. Because this other thing, he showed up at Giants of Africa the last couple summers for Masai and came in and did that. And in some ways, he's spoken openly and glowingly about things that have to do with Toronto, whether it's Dr. Alex or, you know, appreciating it a little bit more in hindsight. So I'm just saying, be open to it. I don't think it's likely to happen. So people that are worried about it and don't want it to happen, I wouldn't worry about it too much because I don't think it will. I don't think it will happen. But if it did, the possibilities are very interesting. Let's just put it that way. Very, very interesting. Great question, Reggie, and I appreciate you asking it. Seymour saying this, Stephen A. Smith trying to move Jaylen Brown hard. His name keeps popping up with new reports daily. The media mafia is real. Yeah, there is a constant report this week that Jaylen Brown is still being solicited to be traded by the Boston Celtics, that they want to move him. That, you know, it could very well be that some of the comments that Jaylen made after the season with the absence of Jason Tatum saying that this was his best season ever have really rubbed some people the wrong way on the down low and behind the scenes. And that at this point, they are ready to move on from Jaylen Brown and they really want to move on from him. It's kind of like this weird situation where you may be living with a roommate and you're still on the lease with them, but you hate each other and you have to still stay in the same house. I think that's what's going on with Jaylen Brown at this point. I don't think that he feels totally appreciated, and the Celtics are very openly shopping him. So it's interesting. I think that this, in some ways, you can make correlations to Giannis sweepstakes over the years. The press is trying to force this to happen. But I think this is also very true that like some things may have just come to their natural end with Jaylen Brown in Boston. That may be what's happening right now. And they are desperate. And it could be that, you know, opportunist team could fleece the Celtics because of their need to really get him out of there. It's like, yeah, we can't have him in training camp. Him and Jason do not like each other at this point. It's just how it is. He shouldn't have said that about things. You know, he won a championship and got finals MVP with Jason next to his side. And he's saying this is his best year ever. Man, why did he say that? It's just caused a whole can of worms. That may be part of it right there. That may be part of it. Seymour saying Miami adding 7'1" Anas Sakakis. Okay. There's a lot of signings right now. Exhibit 10 signings for the Raptors are for Summer League. These are the guys, like there was a big dude. Let me go look at them real quick because you guys posted a couple of them yesterday. And one of the guys, his name is, let me see, where is it? Man, Trevor, you post so much stuff. It makes it so hard to find things. Kaloy posted it yesterday. It's a guy named Nate Biddle. He signed an Exhibit 10 contract with the Raptors yesterday, and it is for the Summer League. He's a 6'11" guy with a 7'2" wingspan, and as Kaloy put it, a massive balding mullet. I don't know. We'll have to see how this guy is. Oregon says a mighty duck or a duck. So we will have to see. But yeah, he'll be at training camp. There was another guy they signed also for training camp contract. These are not big moves. These are just like Kuraks a couple years ago getting added to the Summer League roster. So we'll see. This big guy may be interesting for us. Biddle is his name, I believe. Let's see. Trevor's saying, so what do you think about the new Raptors interview yesterday? What did you think? Oh, the new Raptors? You mean Allen and Jaden and getting their interview? I'm glad they got it. And we didn't get Keith Pelly doing some bullshit. You know, these rookies should have got their interviews last year, Elijah and Colin, just like these guys got yesterday. I've come across with Jaden Bradley as a good young man. He has a lot of comparisons to Shed. People are just openly comparing him to Shed left and right. I like his attitude about that question, though. It's like, I'm on a team with Elijah Martin, Chucky Hepburn, and IQ and Jamal Shed, and I'm coming in to learn from them. That, these guys he's going to be competing with, but he's humble. He understands. He's not coming in to say I'm braggadocio. I don't need to learn nothing from them. No, he's saying they're in the system already, and I need to learn from Elijah Martin and Jamal Shed. That's good. That's a good attitude. The one thing that's really awesome, and this is the thing that stacks on a team, is winning. And Jaden Bradley, just like Jamal Shed's a winner. Is the stats are there from his earlier careers in college and before. So, that's something that is valued by Bobby Webster in the front office. Is this player a winning mentality? Is this person have a track record of winning? And Jaden Bradley has that, apparently. Once again, I'll say this. Don't give big expectations for Jaden Bradley. If he can carve out a role in any kind of way on the Raptors proper, I'll be surprised. I think that he's going to be kind of a sporadic appearance. Here, you're getting your NBA debut. Here, you got your first WNBA. You got your first NBA points. But I think anybody having huge expectations for Jaden Bradley in his first year, you got to just put him to the side. I honestly feel like, especially for second-round point guards or undrafted point guards, they really do need to go run the team in Mississauga and show the kind of leadership style and what they're doing down there, and also get the feel for the Raptors system at that lower level with the team's concepts so that they can practice it. And then when they do get the call up to Scotiabank Arena, they're ready to jump in and do it the right way, because that's the whole thing that 905 is for. And we don't want him practicing being a point guard out on the court in the middle of the game like Malachi Flynn did for a couple years, wasting our time. No, we want him to get it right and show that he can be the floor general, run his team. That's your team in Mississauga, Jaden Bradley. You run them. Their record and how they do is a reflection of you. So you do your right thing. See, it would have been Chucky's show last year if he hadn't got hurt in the last halfway through the season. But they value Chucky, and they did give him the contract for this year coming up. So they're showing there's promise in Chucky still, and they believe in him, and he's recovering strong from his injury from last year, and he's putting in the work. So that's what I expect for Jaden Bradley. Allen Graves, man, he's just a blast. Whatever happens, Allen's going to be awesome. As always, just have fun, and let's just kick back and watch Allen Graves and just enjoy it. Seriously, that's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say about Allen right now. In some ways, he's going to be more fun than Colin, because like Colin and Scotty, he's going to be doing shit disturber stuff, getting steals and just doing crazy defensive plays. But he's going to do it with a certain flair and intensity and passion that may be a little different flavor than Barnes. Barnes, sure, he does his pros and yells and all this stuff. But Graves might be a little playful with what he does. And I think that fans are going to love him, because he's going to be like that added dimension, more of that we already got. Doubling down on defense, as y'all said. Yeah, doubling down on defense. That's what we've been doing. And seriously, that's why you go get a big weapon like Ingram. That's why you get somebody like that, because you got all the defense. You just need the big weapon to take over and win the game at the end. That's it right there. Yeah. Seymour's saying Trae Young not giving up his jersey number 3 to young rookie AJ. AJ will rock number 4. Yeah, I don't care about this. You're talking about a loser franchise with a bunch of draft picks and young players because they always suck. And I'll just be curious to see the creative way that the Washington Wizards ruin another young crop of players, just like they did a long time ago with Rasheed Wallace and Chris Webber and Jawan Howard. They just figure out new ways to fumble the ball when they have supremely good talent on their team. They'll figure it out. They'll figure out a way to lose and be horrible still, even with AJ and Sarr and Keyshawn George and all the great players they've been collecting through the draft at the top of the draft for years. They'll figure out how to screw up anyway. That's right. Seymour saying, laugh out loud. Shams just did another piece on Brown. Now says he will be pursued by Portland. Yeah, I mean this is probably true. I'll bet you the Raptors have looked into a trade with Celtics to get Jaylen Brown on our team. I'll bet that is true. Bobby would not be doing his due diligence without inquiring this and finding this out. I bet that is true. So I don't know what kind of package we'd be looking at. Shaq Lindsay saying, question, Lex, would you trade Kawhi if it only took BI and a pick? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Brandon's awesome, and I'm love that he's revitalized his career. But in some ways, there's levels to this. There's levels to this. Brandon is a very overpowering, amazing offensive player, but there's certain aspects of Kawhi that are not in Brandon, and those things are the things that I would love to have back. No disrespect to Mr. Ingram or Brandon or anything. And I know that this has been a topic at times where I said, yeah, we could trade Brandon and flip him and we could get somebody else. And they've gotten upset about this. I get it. Toronto's awesome and you love being here and you want to be here for a long time. But once again, I'll say very openly and publicly, the one starter that I would trade first is Ingram. I don't want to trade RJ. I don't want to trade IQ. I don't want to trade Yak. But we can upgrade the big gun, the person who's in charge. That's the big name. And that makes more sense anyway, right? In some ways, that's part of the flexibility that Bobby built into this whole thing, acquiring Brandon Ingram. I've even said it before. Brandon Ingram's a fixer-upper. He was in bad value because of hurt years, and the Raptors brought him back to all-star form. And in some ways, his value's up from when we acquired him the year before. I'm just saying. And no disrespect to Ingram. Ingram, if you really want to stay on this team and be on this team, you prove that you're more of a two-way player more and more over time. And we saw more shot blocking and you playing defense and rebounding ever in your whole entire career this past year on Toronto. And I appreciate that from you. Keep that effort up. In some ways, I am not upset having Brandon Ingram be our big gun and stay on this team if that is what happens. But if we are exploring other options and we're looking at opportunities, he's the best trading piece we've got, I believe. I don't want to trade RJ. There's just too much pricelessness with RJ being on Toronto. There's too much pricelessness. And the value you get back for what you trade RJ is not going to be there. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be there. That's right. Let's see. Seymour's saying, if we move Barrett, I'm taking time off from the NBA for a bit. Yeah, I felt that way about DeMar that summer. In fact, it's crazy. I swore I wasn't going to watch the NBA the year we won the championship because I was so mad that the Raptors traded DeMar DeRozan to San Antonio. And, well, we saw what happened over the course of the next year. And I'm glad I did watch that season after all. But I was very seriously thinking about boycotting the whole league and turning my back on the NBA. That's how pissed off I was about the trade of DeMar DeRozan. That's how pissed off I was. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam. Happy Friday. Historic night for Marina. Wow. I know. And you were at prom. This was going down. I was like thinking about that too. I was like, man, this is the one. This is Fiercey. Fiercey's going to watch this later and she's going to really enjoy this. I hope you did watch it later and you got to see the whole thing because it was amazing. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Shaq Lindsay saying, I think Kawhi would be perfect fit for this team, but I don't trust him. Yeah, I mean, I don't trust him long term, but if it's a 1-year rental or 2-year rental and we're going to try and get the next chip with him, I think we can do it because in some ways we have the track record to trust him. It may be a totally different dynamic, though, because there was a lot of veteran presence on that 2019 team. And this team's different. He'd really have to be like, you're just the silent dude that just goes and does stuff. Like I said, Ingram moved like that this past year. He didn't try and take the leadership and say, I'm the most important person in the locker room. We knew Scotty was the vocal leader and the guy who was in charge. And that has to continue. And, Kawhi was fine with that. He did that with Kyle, and Mark and people like that, Serge being more vocal leaders than Kawhi. And that would have to be the same. He comes here. Kawhi's not the vocal leader. Scotty, Jamal, RJ, Garrett Temple, those kind of people are the vocal leaders. And Kawhi's just the silent gun, the guy who comes out there and does stuff. He has to know that. That's right. Reggie saying B.I., Grady, and 2 first-round picks for Kawhi. That is the trade, in my opinion. If that is what it is, I would maybe do it. I think 2 first rounds is a little steep. If we can get away with just 1 first-round pick with those 2 players, I would do it. That's right. Seymour saying no Kuzma, no Turner, no Kawhi, Mia River, no. So Seymour saying no. These are on the no-fly list here. Kyle Kuzma's on mine too. Miles Turner is kind of on mine. I'm not totally sure about no on Miles Turner, but mostly no. But Kawhi is not a no from me. No, because we've been there and done that. We've seen what happened, right? Reggie's saying this. Imagine Leonard and Barnes. Oh, my God. That's what I'm saying. Imagine that. Imagine Leonard, Barnes, Colin, and Allen Graves. And this is another thing that I thought about after the draft that I hadn't really brought up. Everybody's wondering why we're doubling down with the same type of player with Allen Graves at 19. And what I would say is, think about it this way. Scotty's so versatile. You could get a bunch of guys like Colin and Allen, and you could put Scotty at guard. You could have, the more players that we get like Allen Graves, the more likely Scotty's going to be playing guard. That's what I'm saying. Because if you think about the lineup, Colin, I don't really want him at 5. He should be at 4. You put Allen at 3. Well, where's Scotty going to play? He doesn't want to play center. Well, you could put him at 2 or 1. You could run him with Emmanuel as the combo guard, and he's switching back and forth, and Scotty's switching back and forth. And you can do that lineup, and that lineup is insane because you think about the defensive ability of a team that has Scotty playing outside on guard, and he's not even having to do a lot. And you can switch it out. I mean, Allen's talented enough to do perimeter kind of guard stuff too. So, or Colin even. We saw Colin working on the outside last year. So the versatility of the lineup with Graves added is allowing for Barnes to play more 1 and 2 is what I'm saying. So I like that. I like that aspect. We used to dream about this. It's not Vision 6-9 exactly, but it is. You get a true center. You get Yak out there, or you don't. You just have really big lineups, Scotty, Colin, and Allen. And you can try and figure it out. RJ's in there too. That's a big lineup. It can be a big lineup, man. I'm telling you, though. Yeah. Smooth saying Leonard wants to stay with the Clippers, though. Yeah, that's what they've said. His first priority is to just build the Clippers and get more of a Steve's aspiration kind of money. What is even happening with the whole thing with him and the investigation? Are there any penalties from the overtures of Pablo Torre speaks out and what he said and he uncovered last year? Is there any kind of penalties for this? Because that's another thing that's kind of been swept under the rug, like Epstein files. It's like, oh, no, let's not talk about aspiration and the Clippers or anything. No, let's get everybody excited about possibility of Kawhi trade, and we'll get them distracted. And we won't even bring up that whole thing about that tree company last year. I mean, I'm kind of wondering about that too. Maybe this is a lot of hype and noise to cover up for that. Seymour saying, if I was in the league, my celebration after a dunk would be the ravishing Rick Rude one. Seymour, I'm going to give you a dunk, man. That's inappropriate. This is a family environment. You got 57. Seymour got 2 dunks in a row just now. 57. That's hilarious, man. You don't need to be gyrating your body like that. You're going to make people have problems inside. They're going to be like, wait, why does that make me feel funny? Like, what did you do? There's little children, nah, this ain't right. Don't be doing it. It's a family environment. Shaq Lindsay saying this: Brandon and Dick plus 2 first rounders. Sign me up. Throw in shipping insurance as well. Well, we'd have to do our due diligence and get Dr. Alex to look over them. I could only imagine what it's like. Here we go. We'll do a reenactment. Raptors Freak reenactment. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while, Claw. Come on in. Sit down. How has your knee been since you've been in LA? Oh, I missed you, Alex. Thank you. Yeah, it's been mostly okay. Yes, yes. Well, I'm glad to have you back here. I want to look you over a little bit before we sign off on this. Bobby's asked me to check you. So, is there any feelings of around your body right now that are bothering you or any way? Uh, Not that I can think of or anything like that. Okay, that sounds good. Let me get the little hammer and I'll hit your knee. It's like, what is that going to be like, Dr. Alex and Kawhi reunited if that happens? Seriously. Dr. Alex is one of Kawhi's favorite people in the world because he keeps him healthy. That's right. That's right. We got to see this, we got to see this. That's right. Reggie saying might be Pascal's situation where he wanted to stay, but the team wasn't willing to pay. That's where the Raptors can take advantage. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This has been the MO for us. We don't get big free agency signings, right? That's one of the knocks. We don't get this. We don't get that. But one of the things we do get is opportunity. That's why the Raptors, with the front office of Ujiri and Webster for a long, long time, always wanted to have a position of flexibility. Flexibility is not just a word. It's an ability to be on your toes and ready just in case things like Kawhi Leonard is disgruntled in San Antonio and needs to be moved. And you are able to have the collection of assets to do certain things and make powerful moves. Well, is this an opportunist summer? Once again, with the name Kawhi Leonard, possibly, seriously. And this may be true. Maybe Steve Ballmer's like, I love Kawhi, but he's really kind of got a shadow of darkness around him with this team now. And maybe it's good if we just kind of move on from him. I don't know if I want to invest this much money in him since I invested so much money in him already on the table and under the table. And we almost got caught. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. In some ways, we need to make the getaway. Just let him go. Let's not pay him because there's a lot of, tainted kind of publicity and Pablo Torre, stuff like that. Could it be that? It's like, yeah, Steve Ballmer's like, yeah, we'll let him walk because in some ways we need a new chapter and we need to get the feds off my case. Literally, we need to get the feds off my case. Shaq Lindsay's saying because we all know packages get lost sometimes. That happened. That happened with Trevor last week. The package he sent to me that was supposed to be at the post office, it got lost. And he's got his money back from the people. Yeah, this happens all the time. You're exactly right, Shaq Lindsay. Thank you for supporting the channel, you and Reggie. I appreciate y'all. I do. Let's see. Reggie's saying in the end, though, it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, let's not get our hopes up. Let's not get mad at Bobby if this doesn't happen. Get mad at Uncle Dennis. No, I'm just kidding. We'll just figure it out. We'll see how it goes. Once again, we should react. We don't want to make things happen because we're fans. We don't. So let's just watch and observe and react. You can react. Have your own feelings about it after you see what happens, but don't get all mad in your own ego because it didn't happen the way exactly you wanted. You just got to see how it happens, and then we'll talk about it. That's what this channel is all about. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, I know it's not going to happen because Kawhi ain't serious about winning another championship. I don't agree with this. I think he is. I think that's one of the sad, weird things about him since he left Toronto is he sat on the bench looking forlorn. He thought he was going to get championships. He thought it was just a done deal. And no, it's not like that. You need a lot of different things. And the Raptors have those kind of things that help you, Kawhi, because it was proven before and it could be proven again. So I think that when I see him on the court, sitting on the sideline in street clothes the last few years, and then he sees his team running up and down the court, and he's not out there, he looks sad as hell because he's wanting to be out there. He's such an enigma. We can't say for sure whether he wants to not want to win or not. That's not, no, because he's competed at the highest level and he's gone and won twice already. And he knows what that takes and he knows what it is. And as I said, my eye test for him last year, he looked like he was playing better than ever. since 2019. So he's at a high level right now. There is some recent history of Kawhi being healthy and playing at a high level from last year. And that's why, in some ways, like, look, if you'd asked me if we do this like 2 years ago and just the track record of what he'd done in LA since then, I would say, fuck no, the man can't stay healthy. But he stayed healthy last year. And in some ways, that tells me right there that it's okay now. But, I would probably say, no, we don't do this deal. Fuck him. He took off. He didn't want to do this. But he looks healthy again. And he played at a very high level last year. If he didn't do that last year, I would be saying no with everybody. But he has a track record from last year in the short term that looks really, really good. That looks really, really good. Seymour wants to give a dunk to Infamous for the call. Awesome. We'll do that for sure. Yeah, I love getting the trivia from Infamous. It's fun because it gives me a chance to show y'all I know my stuff. 18 on the dunk chart for Infamous on the lob from Seymour Pate. There you go. Reggie saying this, Scotty and Kawhi together, Raptors running the East. No stop in that combo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially, like I'm saying, like, if you don't give up guys we covet and we can really kind of do what the deal that y'all are saying, think about that switch and what it would actually look like. Seriously, think about that switch and what it would look like. We have a lot of forwards. We have good forwards. Kawhi's playing guard. Kawhi is playing guard on our team. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Reggie saying even a 35-year-old Leonard, Knicks, Pacers, etc., none of them can compare. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, G saying congrats to Marina Mabrey. That's right. In some ways, I don't want to steal the thunder of Marina Mabrey and her accomplishment in the Toronto Temple last night, but this is a huge topic in Raptors world right now, this Kawhi stuff. And it's very real, honestly. It's real to the extent of whether they're using us as a pawn. That's right. Smooth saying Giannis can't stop them either. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's a proven thing. He fits in our culture. He does. He fits in the things that we want to do. In fact, he may be like one of the original inspirations for what we're doing. As far as like, hey, Kawhi, you're back in Toronto. Yeah, look at the team we built. In some ways, it's inspired by you. Yeah, Scotty's got claw too. Yeah, I called him claw too for a while because he has the same giant hands as Kawhi. And Colin, he has giant hands. Oh yeah, he has giant hands too. The cookie hands, cookie jar hands. They're always giant like this. And I looked at Alan Graves' hands too. They look really weird. They're like weirdly giant compared to the rest of his body. You go look at Alan Graves' hands. Seriously, you'll see this, what I'm talking about. That's part of the analytics darling that he is. In some ways, it's like his hands are like, I don't know. They were weird. Like I was seeing it in the interview and I was like, man, his hands just look like giant. So Alan Graves has got that too. Seriously. So yeah, we just have a claw club. We'll be claw club. Just have a bunch of claws. You know what I'm saying? This is original claw. This is West Palm Beach claw. This is a South Carolina claw. And this is Louisiana claw. There's a bunch of claws, It's crazy, man. Smooth saying, anyways, enough of this dream. It's not happening. Kawhi is all about Kawhi. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Shaq Lindsay saying our chemistry doesn't need that selfishness. I don't think that's true. I don't think he's a selfish player. I mean, he kowtowed and he followed the coach's rules. I think if Darko can keep him under control and make him understand this is what's best for the teams, Kawhi will do what's best for the team. Often, all you need to do with Kawhi is say, go out there and kick ass, and he'll do it. In some ways, seriously, he's a simple player to coach. He gets a bad rap, partly because of his exit from us and his exit from San Antonio. People get so mad at him for that. But if you talk to Nick Nurse, if you talk to Greg Popovich, and you ask them about Kawhi Leonard behind the scenes and how he is as a player, they say he's a hard worker. He's amazingly talented. He's a professional. So I don't see this. Even with the dissension and the problems in the middle of our championship year between Kyle and Kawhi, professionalism was upkept. There were definitely issues with Lowry and Leonard around Christmas of 2018. Definitely. You remember, Kyle was sitting at the end of the bench with a towel on his head, protesting because he was mad that the Raptors were giving special favor to Kawhi Leonard. The years that he played next to DeRozan, birds of a feather, best friends, they never, ever made a stratification where they were above the rest of the team. They did every event and everything that the whole team was doing with them. But Kawhi wanted to opt out. Kawhi wanted to go and not have to go to the extra stuff. And if it was optional, he wasn't there. He was not there. And Kyle didn't like that because that was not the way he operated with DeMar when they were in charge of the team. So in some ways, he was pissed at Kawhi for being not totally an involved teammate with everything they do. There's a sliding scale of stratification. LeBron really stratifies himself above his team, and that's always on the down low issue with LeBron James and his teams that he plays on. In some ways, it's not his fault because he's LeBron James and he's a certain level of what he is in the NBA, and there's probably not realistic to keep him with everybody in the same place like Kyle and DeMar used to when they were running the Raptors for the 2010s. That was an issue. And even though that issue was bubbling underneath, did Nick Nurse and the Raptors combust or mess up that season and not get all the way to Larry Bryan? No, because it was managed and people acted professional. And even amidst all that, Kawhi didn't make it worse by doing anything. And Kyle came around and he started to understand, well, this guy's actually making us really good and we're going for a championship. All right, I can start being okay with Kawhi Leonard and the way he's doing things on our team because I see the end of it and we could win this. And I'll believe it with that. That's part of it right there. So I don't think it is like selfishness. There's not selfishness in Kawhi. That's not necessarily the right word for it. Seymour's saying this: does someone once someone walks out of my life, don't even think about crawling back. I don't glaze over any of my exes. They are my exes for a reason. Bye and stay gone. Well, this is not relationships like that. This is not personal relationships. This is sports. And stuff like this happens all the time. Returns happen. Healing wounds happens. I wish Vince had gotten that chance. It's a shame that he didn't circle back and do a second stint with the Raptors near the end of his very long career just to heal the wounds. Honestly, I'd be way better with Vince if we had gotten that to happen, Masai. And Kyle Lowry made it very clear that Vince Carter could have been coming back to the Raptors in the couple of years near the end of his career, but it just didn't happen for whatever reason. I wish it had. It would have healed a lot of things with Vince Carter and the Raptors nation. As far as how I feel, I don't know. I don't look at this the same way. I really don't. Kawhi was an idiot. In some ways, I once again say he owns that mistake. He fucked up. Not Serge Ibaka, not Kyle Lowry, not Nick Nurse, not the Raptors fans, not the city of Toronto, not the country of Canada. Kawhi fucked up. And he has to own that mess up that he walked away from a championship in Toronto that he could have gotten the next year. He needs to face that himself. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, love Allen. His character seems genuine. It's weird because we got to remember he's a 19-year-old kid and he really is in some ways immature and kind of young and naive, but he's also very professional and serious about his basketball life and his career. We found out more about his family life growing up and how him and his siblings were very competitive. They competed on everything, just like the Mabreys. And, they competed on who would get in the car and put their seatbelt on faster. This is crazy. So he has this conditioning of being in a highly competitive athletic sports family with older siblings that have achieved in their areas of what they've done in their athletic careers. Yeah. So he's coming from a pedigree. He's coming from an area where the family works hard and they are very professional thinking because the parents were athletes themselves and they wanted to instill that in their children also. And once again, being a younger sibling in a family like that, in some ways you get the extra training because you don't just have your parents, you have your older siblings that are above you that are teaching you going that way too. In some ways, that's part of why Marina is who she is because of Mikey and her brothers. And her coach mom and her dad. Alan Graves has a family like that too, a very competitive family. And in some ways, once again, I see him on Instagram last night posting his Deuteronomy. He's like very disciplined. He's going to do this every day. He's going to come on. He's going to read some Bible verses for all of us every single day. That's showing dedication. That's showing that he has a a schedule. He keeps to his pattern. He's done it for 700 plus days, just like I've done this stream for almost 1,500 days. It's a I can recognize like this dude is serious because he's kept up a streak of reading Bible passages on Instagram for over 700 days. That's over 2 years, y'all. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Seymour's saying the way he talked about our chip team still rubs me the wrong way. They just weren't good enough. Well, he was dumb. He's dumb. There's one thing about Kawhi. He's a dumb jock. He's an idiot. He's stupid up here. And I've made jokes about San Diego State and the players that come out of there. Yeah, they're not the most brilliant players. That's the kind of the funny thing about it is like Kawhi didn't really fit in some ways with the IQ of Lowry and Gasol and Ibaka and that high level team we had. But he did because it was inherently in his athleticism and the way that he trained and the way he became. So it's like you can have book smarts, street smarts, you can have intelligence, IQ or whatever, but you can also be just a very smart basketball IQ player, but not be a smart person. And that's what Kawhi is. He's not a smart person. He's a dummy. Let's not get it twisted. In some ways, we could use the term himbo. But he's a hell of a basketball player, and he does actually have a very high basketball IQ and an ability on the court, which is different than a IQ in a regular life. That's what it is right there. He was just stupid. He was dumb. He didn't realize everything in the whole big picture. He had a very self-centered view of it all, and it was really just one thing that he cared about, going home. That's right. Reggie's saying, you can't be serious saying that no to Leonard, man. That's what I'm saying. Bobby works it out, and it makes sense. As long as the deal's not taking anybody that I really want to keep on this team, I'm thumbs up. I'm okay with it. And it looks like y'all are coming around. 58% of you or 55% of you are now saying yes, you would take Leonard back. It's interesting, man. Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. Dunk for Seymour and dunk for Shaq Lindsey. I offer Ingram, Grady, and 1 first-round pick for Kawhi. Don't like it? No problem. Not my LA guy. That's what I'm saying. If they don't like the deal, we don't have to do it. We say, you really want to do this? This is what we would take. And this is what we'll give you. And that's it. That's the only way it works, Steve Ballmer. Oh, you don't want to do it? Well, you don't want that deal? Well, we don't care. We don't need to do this. We got our own plan and what we're already doing. If we want to take an opportunity here, we'll give you the offer here. If you want it, it's on the table, but not for long. You better make your decision soon, is what we're saying here. That's right. All right, Cass, we're going to give dunks to Seymour and Shaq Lindsey for what you're saying. Seymour is racking him up today, man. Seymour is racking him up. He's ripping that rim around right now, man. He's at 60 now. You're up to 60, and let's go get Shaq Lindsey. Shaq Lindsey, number 1 Zach LaVine fan. Let's see, where is he here? Let's see. Shaq Lindsey is getting to 48. 48 hours. That's right, 2 days. That's right, 2 days. Let's go, Eddie Murphy. 48 hours. Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy. That's right. Let's go. All right, cool. All right, Pat Love's back in here. He's saying he's 36 years old. I know, that's crazy. That's why in some ways we don't need a lot of time on the clock. Literally, a 4-bounce shot against Philadelphia in a game 7 doesn't need a lot of time on the clock. And this is the thing. We're kind of in the position, like I said, we're expediting, getting better, faster with the youth on our team. And the elevator that the Spurs just went on, you add Kawhi Leonard to us, maybe we're on that elevator next year. And all of a sudden, we're in a finals appearance after a first-round exit the Cleveland Cavaliers the year before. That can happen on the timeline that works with him as that he gets closer and closer to 40. That's the thing. In some ways, you could make the argument, Pat Love, that Kawhi Leonard is not actually so many years professional because he sat so much. And if you really look at how many games he played over his career, and you look at how many LeBron played, you'd be like, wow, actually, he's pretty fresh because he hasn't played in a whole bunch of games because he missed a ton of seasons just from sitting around on the Clippers and street clothes. So in some ways, he's been fresh. Even though he's been hurt, he hasn't been playing. Where's the wear and tear? Man's been playing like 30 games a season for the last 5 years, you know? It's always this part of it right there. Yeah, Smooth saying it doesn't matter that he's 35, man. I know. In the way I look at it from last year, you look at the eye test of how he played last year. That's all you need to know. Can he still do it? Can he still do it? He can do it, and he's even stronger now, it looks like, because his body looks even stronger last year than it did when he played for the Raptors. This looks like that. Yeah. His experience with Scotty. Are you kidding me? I think it would be very interesting to see the synergy there. And I think that Kawhi would really respect Scott. And who knows what he would teach Scotty. We know this is something that is absolutely true, that Kawhi Leonard had a profound effect on Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby and the rest of the Raptors in the year that he was on our team. They saw how Kawhi did things, and they learned things from him. Part of what Siakam became at this point on the Pacers is because he was around Kawhi, y'all. Sure, he was around DeMar and Kyle and saw stuff from them too. But I hear all the time, Fred VanVleet said on Guard Podcast, man, you see Kawhi and the way he works, and it inspires you, and you steal some of that stuff from him. So that's what, think about that in that aspect with the current Raptors, working alongside and seeing him around them. You're going to pick up some stuff like Siakam and Anunoby did 8 years ago. That's a whole other added bonus to this, even if you get him just for a year or two. In some ways, it's like he could be a tutor in the short term and show standards and the way he does things, and Scotty picks him up and he goes to another level. That's possible. That is possible right there. Yeah. Kaz is saying Samson Folk is on crack. He wants to include CMB in Kawhi's trade. Laugh my ass off. This man can't be serious. Yeah, he's crazy. You crazy, Samson. Yeah, man, I don't know what Simpson's been saying. He's behind paywalls. I'm not watching him or listening to him anymore. In some ways, when I hear some of the stuff that he's been saying since, I'm like, what are you doing? You're crazy. You're crazy. We don't need to do that. That's what I'm saying. We don't trade anything we want to keep. We're helping them out. We're opportunists, and we're getting the deal the way we want it. In some ways, it's the flip of Pascal going to Indiana. You guys are in trouble. You need to get Kawhi out of there because of aspiration. You can't have him associated with Steve Ballmer anymore. Well, we're doing you a favor. So we're going to read the terms of the deal. Yeah, Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, kind of shit like that. That's what I'm saying. We make the terms. If you're the team who's trying to move the guy so bad. And if he does it, they don't want to, and they're just fibbing, well, okay, you're just wasting everybody's time then. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, yeah. Yeah, you started laughing when you heard what Samson Folk was saying. That's crazy. So we're saying this, Kaz, Samson changed his mind on the CMB stuff. Oh, I'm sure fans helped him change his mind. It's kind of like a guy coming in and saying, a mafioso coming in to try and encourage somebody to think the way they want to think, Yeah, Samson, you might want to rethink your whole take on CMB for Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, you may want to rethink about it. The fans maybe came in and kind of explained it to him. That's funny. G saying Kawhi is using the Raptors again as leverage. I don't believe he's being sincere if this is true. Well, he did it before, so there is a track record for this, but there are different settings in this case. And I will say two of them. One of them is aspiration, just like I've been talking about. That's a whole different kind of setting that may want them to distance and not have them there. And that's on the Clippers. That's on Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer is a businessman. In some ways, he may be sitting with his advisors and saying, we should move on from Leonard, because every time he's around and out there, people are going to continue to think about the whole scandal. And maybe we need to just get distance from him. In some ways, you're lucky. You got away with this, Steve. And we don't want to push it, because they may continue to push it as long as he's on our team. So you may want to get rid of him. The other thing that I will say that is different this time than the last time they may have used this for leverage in this situation is that Kawhi had a healthy year last year, and he actually is seeing the sunset of his career coming up. And if he really earnestly is trying to go for a third ring, he wants to be in the best positions to do it. And you could really actually make a strong case that he could win another ring with either Toronto or San Antonio if he goes to either one of those teams. If he stays in LA, it's just spinning his wheels, going through the same bullshit he's been doing since he got there. So if he has a motivation himself personally to really want to win a third championship and really try and elevate his name and his age group from his generation in the NBA, that's what he's thinking, because the time is running out. And this is something that a bunch of these dudes are thinking. Lillard, Durant, Steph Curry, all the guys that are getting close to the end, LeBron, They want to get that last championship possibly. They really are trying to jump on the right team. DeMar DeRozan, he wants to be on a team to compete for and try and get a ring still. So I would say Kawhi probably does look at this realistically in some ways, even though he's totally wrong after he walked away and said we didn't have a chance to repeat. He was wrong. But maybe he's kind of like, you know what? I didn't give the Raptors a fair shake. Look at how good they did. In some ways, he's looking at our roster. He's probably like, man, those guys, they play defense. They play like right in a lot of different ways that I like. And in some ways, man, if I could be a part of that, I probably could win again. That's what it is right there. That's what it is right there. That's right. Let's see. Smooth. I wonder why. Garbage take. I'm not even sure which take it is. G saying, so an older Kawhi is now okay with being away from home? Don't believe it. Pure leverage tactic, in my opinion, but guess we will see. Maybe he got his fill of being at home. Maybe some people in his family are annoying him. He's like, yo, man, I thought it'd be nice to be home, be around family. Y'all are annoying. I need to go. I don't know. There could be some factor in that. Maybe he got the family time and he's like, okay, I got the family time. Now I'm willing to go try and ring hunt again. And that's not going to be with Clippers and Steve Ballmer because the track record is there. And we've seen just how bad it is here. Spinning our wheels and never getting anywhere. That's right. Imba is saying, I agree. It's a leverage play by his camp. This is probably exactly true. But who knows? Stranger things come out of things when they're just kind of screwing around and messing around. And all of a sudden, wait, no, we weren't totally serious. Oh, shit. Now it's actually happening. Steve Ballmer calls their bluff. He says, yeah, you're crazy. We're not going to amp up your price just because you're doing this. We know what you're doing exactly. We'll call your bluff. Yeah, you are traded. Yeah, you are. Oh, shit. We didn't want that. We did it. Yeah, sorry. Aspiration. We can't have you here. You know? Smooth saying this, hey, even if it's leverage, Bobby needs to make the deal, make the call, and put the best trade proposal forward. It's malpractice if he does not. He's going to do his job, and Bobby does his job every time. And I'm sure he looks into it and he finds out what's going on for sure. I believe that's for sure right there. Let's see. Where am I? All right, here we go. Let's see. Infamous is saying, I also find it disrespectful as well to use us that way. We can't get mad about this. Would you rather get mad about it when a former champion and finals MVP for our team does it? Or would you rather get mad at Jake Fisher when he does it all the time? You know, these people do this all the time. They used to use Masai in Toronto as leverage and just including them in conversation in all kinds of places. People do it all the time. If somebody's going to do it, at least somebody who got us a championship, somebody who has a history with us is doing it, not just some jabroni, some hack writer for Bleacher Report or some shit like that. People do this to us all the time, using us for leverage, just name dropping us. Name dropping. Maybe they'll start doing with Masai and Dallas more often now. But this has been a pattern that's been held and true for a long time, for over a decade. And well, I don't mind if it's Kawhi doing it. Everybody else does it too, right? It's not insulting to me. I don't find you can find disrespect in all kinds of different places. It's if you want to. You don't have to have that feeling of disrespect. It's just it is what it is, right? This is one way to be happier is not take the disrespect. Don't take it as disrespect. Just say, okay, yeah, so you did that. Whatever. I don't care. It's much better if you don't sell it. And you're like, yeah, you just disrespect me, but I'm not acknowledging it because in some ways I'm above it. I don't care. It's it. That's it right there. Pat Love saying IQ and Jakob at 52 million together will be a steal and don't sign him back. Kyle Filipowski is out there. Philansky is out there. I don't know. I don't even know what you're trying to say there. Are you saying you want to trade IQ and Jakob for Kawhi? That don't make no sense. G saying Sandy really empowers her players. Yeah, that's definitely a common trait between Darko and Sandy. And it makes sense. I mean, controlling coaches that are kind of like, you have to fit in a box of what I want you to be and just be this. It's not usually the most efficient thing, right? If you're a coach that says, I want you to be you and play to your strengths and do what feels good. That's kind of the philosophy of Sandy and Darko, especially Darko. And that's what made Mamu's eyes light up in the year that he was on the Raptors just this past year, is that like, look, he's letting me be me and I can be myself and flourish And boom, all of a sudden I'm getting more profile in the whole league as far as like what I am and what I can contribute. That's a great thing. That's part of what's attractive about coming to Toronto. As Alan says, it's a great program. In some ways, we're going to let Alan Graves be Alan Graves, and he's going to enjoy that. We let Jamal Shed be Jamal Shed. We let Scotty Barnes be Scotty Barnes. We let RJ be RJ. And, they're smart coaches because, we want players to be enthusiastic and encouraged and play the way that they want to, but within your system in the ways that you have your rules. And boom, this is the kind of stuff that happens. And this is definitely true about Sandy Brondello. Definitely, she empowers her players and they get to new levels because of it. Everyone was saying, I completely agree. Harrison is very beautiful. Wow. Laugh out loud. I mean, come on, Izzy. Take everything from everybody. I'm beautiful. I'm talented. I'm athletic. She can sing. That's something we found out from an interview recently, that Isabel Harrison has golden pipes like the great Bill Kennedy. It's like, come on, give some other people some nice things, Izzy. Hoarding everything badass about you. She's incredibly tall, beautiful, athletic, amazing basketball player. She's tough, and she still looks like a cover model. It's just not fair. Life is not fair. How did she get such a full house with aces high in her life? What a card she was dealt. It's her life and who she is and what her skills is. She comes from a family with a father who played in the NFL and a lot of athletes in her family. So there's competitiveness once again, like the Graves family and the MABREY family and the Harrison family. So I'm all about this. I'll say this. I'm sure this will get Angel Reese fans all upset. Isabel Harrison's the most fairest damsel, the most beautiful woman in the whole WNBA. That's right. And we got Marina Mabrey too. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, what the fuck? I didn't know that about Marine Land. Mind you, I've been gone from the city for a minute. This happened since you've been gone. They shut that place down in the last, I don't know, five years or so. And the owner cut and run, and he let them animals in the pen with nobody feeding them. And there's actually a few of them that are surviving still somehow, living in the abandoned, haunted Marine Land Park. It's tragic and messed up, man. Watch Blackfish. Y'all learn enough right there. That's right. Pat Love's saying, yep, he knows about Marine Land's dark secrets. That's right. Everyone hates Marine Land. There's these people that like to go to abandoned places, trespassers. They love to go in and check out old, scary, abandoned hospitals and things like that. They go to Marine Land now. They jump that fence and try and run around in that park with all the overgrownness and weirdness of that place. The guy who owned the place was an absolute piece of trash. I'm going to say that right now. The more I learned about him and his dream and what he wanted to do, absolute piece of trash. Absolute piece of trash. Yeah. Dunk for Seymour. All right. You guys are throwing the ball up there. We need to go get up another ball rack. You guys are throwing so many lobs each way. So Seymour's getting another one? All right. Where's he at now? Let's see. Where is he? Let me get on there. Seymour, you're at 63 now. It's like 4 dunks already today. That's pretty good, man. You're a up-and-coming dunk artist here. Let's go. Shaq Lindsay saying, Lex, facts. He didn't have to win us a championship, but he came in and did what he was supposed to. That's what I'm saying. That's proven delivery on promises, It's one thing you're going to pay for a service. You want them to get it done, right? You got a contractor. They come in to renovate your house. This is what I'm going to do by this point and this date, and I'll have this done. Yeah, right. You're a contractor. You're going to take another month. You're going to go over budget and over time. I know you will. This is how it is. But no, Kawhi delivered on the promise of what he was supposed to do. And people, that's what Fred goes on about on his Unguarded. He says, like Kawhi or not, understand this man went and did exactly what he was supposed to do and fulfilled what he was supposed to do for the Raptors that year. And that track record right there shows you he can do it. And he knows the path to do it. The mental path and the way to be to allow for it to happen because he did it already. Now, maybe the cast of characters completely different coach, different team, but I would be willing to be trying it just to see if it could work again, even with a younger core with Scotty as the leader and Darko as the coach. It would be very interesting. I mean, Darko coaching Kawhi, what would that look like? What would that look like? It'd be very interesting. G saying the problem is it's not just players. They will want now draft picks will be gone, and in order to get those draft picks back, they would need to trade one of our stars later. This won't be 1-for-1 trade. Even that way, I don't care. Seriously. Even that way, I don't care. Overvaluing draft picks is stupid. I don't care. If we lose a draft pick or two for a couple years just to get Kawhi Leonard, I don't care about recouping those losses or anything, because in some ways we built up such good talent in the coffers and the pantry on our team with the guys we've been drafting. We could skip a couple of drafts and we'd be fine, especially if we're competing for a championship. We'd be fine. The best teams in the league don't get draft picks every year, right? They're up there getting championships and getting late first round picks, right? That's what we want, right? That's what I say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Adriana's here. Good to see Commissioner of Trivia, Adriana, checking in. I just want to say good morning from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Miss you, Alexi. That's right. She left this week to go to St. Vincent with Wendy. And she's not going to be back for 3 weeks. So it's crazy. I don't have contact with her. She's not calling me to wake me up before the show. And I'll tell you, I've come close to missing the show. This morning, I got up at 9:06. I'm like, oh, shit, Adriana's not waking me up. And because she's not calling me and we're not talking while she's on her vacation. It's a long 3 weeks, Adriana. I just hope you're safe and you're having a good time. And you're getting your sun and beach time and just enjoying St. Vincent as much as possible. So, yeah, that's all I want for you, Adriana. I just want you to be safe and get back, and I'll see you when you get back, okay? So, yeah, blessings and protection to Adriana, Commissioner of Trivia, who is off and on a vacation right now. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks fam. Are you at a crossroads in your life today? Is choosing too difficult for you because you're afraid to fail? Know that failure will eliminate the wrong paths. Trial and error. Yeah. There's so much going on right now. We really are on the threshold of some really huge things. And in some ways, some people are talking about how there's new timelines. There's like a timeline that some people are on and a timeline that other people are on. And some of it may have to do with the whole idea of AI and accepting it. This is all really crazy, heavy stuff. Blessings to Phyllis family and all the Raptor Freak families. Yeah, just stay true to yourself, stay aware, and don't sell yourself out just because it seems like general perception is going a certain way. You know what's right and wrong. You've been taught this since you're a kid, and it hasn't changed just because a lot of things around the world are changing rapidly. Stick to your guns and understand what is right and wrong. I think that's the most important message. And authenticity is going to be so valuable going forward. Just trust me. Stay who you are. Don't conform in certain ways. And stay holding fast to the truth, because the truth is trying to be manipulated and perverted by powers that be, or they're out there that are not wanting good things for us. So stick to your truth that you've known since you were little, and understand your spidey sense on these kind of issues is right. And you need to listen to it and not to what they're telling you. Seriously, that's what I see right there. I love the words of wisdom, Randolph. Thank you. Pat Love saying the Raptors should go get Kyle Filipowski from Utah. Yeah, I hate that guy. I don't want that guy. That guy's in the perfect team for himself. He is, you're spelling his name wrong, by the way. He is a Mormon, and he's on the perfect team. He's in Utah. He's in Mormon country. And I never wanted him. I'm glad we took Mobo in the second round instead of Kyle Filipowski. Some people say, oh, that was a mistake. We should have taken Kyle Filipowski instead of Jonathan Mobo. No, fuck Kyle Filipowski. His goofy-ass Mormon motherfucker. No, he don't fit in Toronto. We don't want him here. We don't need him. I'd much rather have Walker Kessler on the team than Kyle Filipowski. That's what I say right there. No disrespect, Pat Love. That's my personal opinion. Trevor J saying Jaden is a point guard and a shooting guard. Both play both ends of the floor. Okay, sometimes that's awkward. Play both end of the floor. He's a combo guard, is what you're saying, and he's a two-way. Yeah, that's because we only draft two ways. He has to be able to play defense and offense. Jaden's very smart. He said initially this year he's not going to try and score. He's going to focus on his defensive energy and getting his defense to the NBA level. And that's smart. That's exactly what Shed tried to do in the beginning also. So that's the right path. You got to make sure you're defensively up to NBA level before you even try to be in the league and stick around. If you're not staying in the league. And in some ways, that's part of the problem for Grady Dick right now. Is you got to make sure you're up to the defensive needs of the NBA. And Jaden Bradley's first focus will be that. His first focus will be that. Kaz saying, not going to lie, the Amazon broadcast was the best so far, in my opinion. I've always been a fan of Stan Van Gundy's commentary. When it comes to the best looking players, I vote Tiani Key. Okay. You know, Stan Van Gundy really does know the sport, and I like how unbiased he is. In some ways, he's a no-nonsense guy that's authentic, and he's not playing by NBA narratives and stuff. So I love that in the WNBA, he's calling it in a very fair way, and he'll call it up, and he's just being authentic. I love that. I love announcers that are like that. You know, I'm listening to the Sparks announcers last night, and they're such homers. They're like wishing Marina starts going cold and gets worse in the second quarter. They're like, oh, she could just start missing. That'd be great. Just being such haters and homers. The calling commentator for the Sparks broadcast, I hate her. She's annoying. I like the dude. He's good. The way he talks, he's got a really interesting delivery, and he's a very enthusiastic guy to cover the WNBA. But man, the color commentator for the Sparks broadcast, I don't like her. She's absolutely a homer. And she was totally being a Grinch in the middle of the fantastic performance that Marino's putting on for the Sparks broadcast and wishing bad things for the Tempo the whole time. Well, you never got it. Y'all got blown out. Your team got embarrassed. And that's what you get. Two-finger salute to the color commentator for the Sparks broadcast crew. But yeah, I like fair and unbiased people. You know, his brother was very good too, as far as Jeff Van Gundy. When he used to cover the NBA and do commentary too, he was very good also. Those Van Gundys are good like that. They're not just good coaches. They're good broadcast people too. Yeah, Kaloy saying, morning, everyone. Crazy rumors, right? I don't know, man. Yeah, crazy rumors, I guess. Yeah. Seymour saying top of the day to Kaloy. UC's here. UC's saying that was the second ever offseason I paid attention to when we traded for Kawhi, but I've known DeMar since 2014-15, so my emotions when the trade happened were hazy, but I also felt a bit excited as well. I hated it because the promise of Kawhi even showing up wasn't totally there. We didn't even know if he was going to show up. It was such a weird summer. And in some ways, the Raptors were catching a lot of like, you're stupid comments. You just traded the heart and soul of your team for a guy who may not even show up. That was a difficult time. That couple of months after the Kawhi trade, before the season started, and we started to see the returns on it because there was a lot of shakiness about what exactly Leonard was going to do. We didn't even know if he was going to show up for training camp. And well, he did, and the rest is history. Thank God. Stargate saying it's not going to be, it's got to be BI, if anything, not RJ, not Yak, not IQ. Well, they're in the same role on the team, right? You know, if you're going to have Kawhi Leonard come in, that spot is Brandon's. That's part of why you say this, is because Brandon's in that spot right now for us, the big gun, the alpha scorer at the end of the game, the one to carry us home, the one that nobody can stop. But Kawhi has that same roster spot and position. So that's why, to me, that's why you do it. That's why you do it. And the rest of the guys in some ways fit better around Kawhi than Brandon does with him. That's part of it too. Maybe with Grady and a few picks. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, Stargate, is that the deal is Brandon and Dick for maybe a first-round pick also too. Kaloy saying hi to Seymour. I just think Kawhi is just weird, like this, like that, and this rumors could be true. And I would not lose sleep if I shipped out Brandon for him. We'll just have to see how it happens. I don't want to sell Brandon out. I like Brandon, and Brandon's perfectly fine. I don't mind staying pat with what we're doing, Pat Love. I don't mind doing that. It's like, you know, everybody's saying, oh, we missed out on LaMelo. We missed out on Beef Stew. We missed out on this. We shouldn't miss out on Jaylen Brown. You know, that's another thing. We could, what if we replace Jaylen Brown for Kawhi in this whole scenario? Like, what if the Raptors did pick up Jaylen Brown and made the right deal? What would that look like? That's an interesting idea right there, right? That's an interesting idea, you know?
Let's see. UC saying, if we keep our main core just like the time we traded for Kawhi, then I can see us being better than everyone else. Yeah, it's an uptick. It's an uptick because that powerful, in some ways we already got guys on our team that are doing Kawhi-like stuff, like Scotty. And then you get Kawhi. It's just a whole other level of things here. Stargate saying, I disagree with Lex as well as many of you. I think last year was a fluke. I think he is done and we don't need him. But hey, we'll see. This is a good point by Stargate. Actually, the track record isn't over a bunch of years. And maybe that is the anomaly. That maybe, who's to say that last season for Kawhi on the Clippers was the last great season he'll have, the last healthy season he'll have. There is a risk to this. Yeah. In some ways, I get the thing that Stargate's laying here for us. It's like, that's just an anomaly. That's just 1 year. Okay. But he is at that point right now. And once again, I'll say Dr. Alex. In some ways, he's the insurance before, and he would be insurance again because he's still here. And he had a very successful track record managing and load managing Kawhi Leonard. So that would be the factor right there. It's not Nick Nurse. It's Dr. Alex. It's Dr. Alex. Kaloy saying it could be bullshit. So let's not get our hopes up. But what does Bobby have to lose when he inquires about it? No overpay, though. It looks like we are going to have a crazy offseason in the NBA. We'll just have to see how it all goes. It's fun to talk about this. In some ways, this is more realistic than just wide open trade talks and fantasies and stuff like that. There's some real smoke to this fire. And it is something that we should talk about, especially with the history that's involved in all this. This is definitely a topic that should be talked about on here. Mr. Greg's back in the chat. The streak is alive. Good morning, everyone. I certainly would take Leonard back. So he's on that fence with that. So 58% are saying Leonard back. Yes, they would do it. Mr. Greg saying, you knew it was going in after the first bounce from where it hit the rim. My seats were at the foul line for all those years. Man, talking about shooters bounce, I really love seeing the bounce shots around the league, whether it's the CBL, whether it's the WNBA, whether it's RJ in game 6 at the end of the game. It's fun because, there's something about like Marina Mabrey's free throws. She really has a very cool free throw technique where she doesn't have to get it exactly right, but she shoots it with the right spin and the right backspin that if it hits parts of the rim, it's more to settle right on the center to go down. This is really the sign of somebody who's really studied the way physics and the ball bounces off of surfaces and to get the highest percentage of making free throws. Because Marina had some free throws last night that were not totally clean and going in, but that shooter's touch, that repetition of shooting so many times, you understand the extra ability to work the rim or the backboard to be able to get it to fall in. And I love that. It shows such amazing skill. And to get like a shot from the corner like Kawhi did in that game against Philly, or that shot that RJ hit the back of the iron and it went straight up and then fell right down. That really just shows a shooter's touch, a shooter's bounce, and a shooter's time on the court, repetition and learning physics. I love that kind of stuff. It's so cool. Seymour saying Isaiah Joe traded to the Pistons from OKC. This is interesting. That's an interesting little minor move, but he's been a value guy on their team for a while. Interesting. Chloe said, I wanted Joe to the Raps. I don't know if we had any room for him. Our depth chart's starting to fill up. There is a post. Josh Lundberg has put out like the team that we've got like right now and where we are. And we have guaranteed contracts on Barnes, Ingram, Quickly, Barrett, Pirtle, Grady, Colin, and Walter. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. We got the 2 rookies, Graves and Bradley. That's 10. And then it was announced yesterday that the Raptors exercised the team option on Jamal Shed and Chucky Hepburn. So those 2 guys are back in the fold also on our team. So you do the math, that is 12 players. We have 17. No, wait, we have 18. I got used to saying 17 because last year we only had 17 spots. The 1 spot was not used. So we still have 6 players we can fill this in. And there's guys we got to figure out, like Jamison Battle, who's on a non-guarantee contract, the team option for Trace Jackson Davis and Jonathan Mobo. And then also we got to figure out what they're going to do with Elijah Martin. Yeah. And then you get to the unrestricted free agency of Garrett Temple and AJ Lawson. And then Mamu with the player option, which he hasn't officially opted out yet. So there is still the possibility that Mamu says, I'm running it back with the Raptors and I'm taking the $2 million for this year. I don't know if that's likely. We'll have to see. But he hasn't opted out yet, which is very interesting. So we can check in with the roster numbers. It's 12 officially back right now with 6 possible other guys figuring out the rest of the roster. And how does Mobo, Jackson Davis, Battle, Martin, Temple, and Lawson, and all those kind of guys fit in into filling that out? That's how they're going to make their team better. I like that they've locked down the starters. I like that Jamal got his already, and him and Jacoby are in the fold. Colin, the rookies. And then you're just kind of figuring out, well, can we improve off of these roster spots as far as Battle, Mobo, Trace Jackson Davis, Mamu, Temple, and Lawson. So we'll have to see. The Raptors have got some roster building to do in the next little while. It'll be interesting to see how it comes about and who the possible 18 are, or is it just going to be 17 again? KT saying people actually want Kawhi back. Yeah, we're saying yes on the poll right now. 58% yes, we would welcome Kawhi Leonard back to the Toronto Raptors because we know he's going to make our chances to get a championship again. That's right. Stargate saying now we talking. I would trade BI for Jaylen Brown in a heartbeat. So you do that one. You'd say, okay, Celtics, you want to get Ingram? We'll trade you Ingram and Dick for Jaylen Brown. Will you do that? That's an interesting one right there. Kaloy saying, for Brown, how many picks is this guy worth? Are we willing to send out 2 or 3 first-round picks? Yeah, I don't know. I'm so down for Jaylen Brown as well. In some ways, I'm not as keen on getting Jaylen Brown as Kawhi. And the reason why is because Jaylen Brown is really kind of in the territory of RJ. And I don't want to mess with RJ and what he's doing. In some ways, it is the kind of thing where it's like, as much as it would make sense to trade Brandon for Kawhi Leonard, the person that makes sense to trade Jaylen Brown for is RJ. And in some ways, I don't like that as much. As much as I like Jaylen Brown, and I think he's a very fantastic player, I don't really want him on the Raptors in some ways. And that's probably the reason I just said is the reason right there. Stargate saying at Kaloy, offer the same deal for Kawhi with an extra pick. Yes. Did you not hear what Lex just said about draft picks? They are way overvalued. Yeah. Yeah. And especially if you're a high level team and you're competing, well, what is your first round pick anyway? It's like 25, 26, 28, 29, 30 because you won the championship. That's the whole thing. If you're getting high draft picks, that means you're a bad team like the Wizards. If you're getting middling picks, you're in the middle. If you're getting late first round picks, that means you've had a very good year. And that's what I'd rather be. I'd rather be having good years than spinning my wheels and collecting first round talent like the Wizards have done so long. And have they gotten anywhere? In some ways, I would say having a lot of deep lottery picks, like high lottery picks, is a sign that your team sucks and it continues to lose over and over again. Is what I would say right there. I mean, that makes sense. That's true, right? That's true. All right, let's check in on the box score some more. I was doing my stars of the game and I got kind of hijacked. So Marina Mabrey, number 1 star. Number 2 star, Julie Alamon. My number 3 star is Maria Conde. I want to give Maria a bunch of props for playing way better from the start of the game. She was a defensive liability against the Dream in the game earlier this week, and she really caused us to get off the wrong start. Well, this time it was different. She was playing within and playing very eager and aggressive on offense and also playing very solid defense, and she wasn't a weak link in the starting lineup. So, and in some ways I get this. They want Yusketa to be the backup power forward. And, she's not really a starting small forward. Also, with Sykes out, you want that extra scoring punch right from the start. And I really do feel like they're trying to develop Maria Conde's offense more and more as time goes on. So 29 minutes for Maria, 13 points on 4 of 8 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, made both her free throws, 7 rebounds, two turnovers, and 1 steal, a plus 27. Yeah, it's fantastic. She's my 3rd star of the game. My 4th star of the game is Isabel Harrison. Isabel had a similar game to Julie in some ways. She was 4 for 4 perfect from the field, 9 points for her in 21 minutes on 1-1 from 3, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 blocks even from Izzy Harrison, and a plus 10. You know, she was undervalued in some ways in what happened last night because it was such a Marina show, and the 3-point shot really was taking a huge spotlight. But there was a whole diversification of the offense. As Sandy said before the game, we're playing way better now because we've got bigs and we're able to integrate a post kind of game with the 3-point shooting of the tempo. And Isabel Harrison's key to this. In fact, I would make the argument she's the number 1 key person for this. Niara Sabally has some of the post stuff too, but Isabel's the most sound one. And I love her little sweeping moves where she does a nice long-armed layup around the defense. It's very, very measured, and it's a very nice swooping kind of Connie Hawkins kind of move. Yeah, I dropped the name Connie Hawkins. Showing some old school. Mr. Greg will like that one. You can say, yeah, Izzy Harrison has some Connie Hawkins sweeping kind of hawk moves, is what I'm saying. My 4th star of the game, or my 5th star, I guess, is Yusketa. Yusketa off the bench got a double-double, which is fantastic. The 2nd or 3rd double-double in the history of the tempo. 20 minutes, 10 points on 4 of 13 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, a plus 14. She had 6 offensive rebounds. In some ways, if any of the 3-point misses were happening, well, Laura was chasing it down and giving them a second opportunity. And that was a huge part of what helped the tempo win last night. So, yeah, Yusketa. So my 5 stars were Mabrey, Alamong, Conde, Harrison, and Yusketa. And we'll do some honorable mentions too, real quick. I'll give an honorable mention to Kia Nurse, who was playing a lot late in the game and helping Marina get to the 53. She was out there for encouragement. And also, she bombed some threes and made them. Kia, 15 minutes, 12 points. Very good points per minute stuff. 3 for 8 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 4 of 4 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 0 turnovers, 1 steal, a minus 10. Yeah, Kia is, she's an end-up bench player. She's a grizzled vet. And in some ways, she's our Canadian content. But I love seeing her do things that are worthwhile on the court. Sure, some of her shots were ugly as hell, but she did get dialed in and make a couple of threes also. So yeah, I don't hate Kia Nurse, and I think that people just get mad at Kia Nurse and say we could do better than having her on the team. Just shut up. Just let us have our Canadian content and enjoy a Canadian player on the first ever year of the Canadian team in the WNBA. Because she's not trying to get a bigger piece of the pie. Sandy utilizes her in the right kind of ways for toughness and vet stuff, and just a couple of threes here and there from another 3-point shooter. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Sabally, she got 19 minutes, 5 points, 2 of 5 from the field, missed the only 3 she took, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, and a block, a plus 18. She's still coming back from injury. She's not as powerful as she was at the beginning of the year, and she's still trying to find her rhythm from just returning from the last time out. But she's going to get it right. She's going to get it right. She's on the right path. Tiani Key, 2 minutes in the game, didn't really collect a stat. Temi, 19 minutes, 4 points on 2 of 5 shooting, missed both the threes she took, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 turnover, plus 15. And then Tima, and this is something that Sandy talked about in pregame interview about Pouillet. She wants her to get a bigger role. In fact, she said she didn't realize how much Tima was doing in the last game she played in the minutes she gave her. She's very proud of her. She said, basically, I can tell Tima what I want her to do, and she goes out and does it. So I guess she's been telling her to focus on defense and just being a really scrappy person that's getting around after loose balls and chasing people down and just really, and she's doing that. We've seen that. But I feel like, once again, just like Julie and Maria, you want to encourage Tima Pouillet to take shots and utilize that aspect of her game also in the absence of Slim Sykes. So, yeah, Tima woke up a little bit last night. 14 minutes, 6 points on 1 of 5 shooting. Missed the only 3 she took. 4 of 5 at the free throw line. 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, a +4. So yeah, good solid contribution from the 10 women that played the court for the Tempo. One of the things that was really awesome was as a team, they shot 48% from 3, 20 of 42. And this was a big factor in why they won. They absolutely destroyed the Sparks and the differential between the 3-point shooting. Absolutely destroyed them. The great NECA, 21 points in the loss with 7 rebounds, 21 points for Hamby also, and 17 points for Burrell in the loss for the Sparks. Looking at the team stats for both the teams, 51% from the field overall for the Tempo, 43% for the Sparks. We manufactured 3 more shot attempts and made 8 more field goals than them overall. And we made 9 more threes than them, 20-11, and shot 48% from 3. Even when they were trying to guard us, they couldn't stop us. Because this is a thing. They started cover up Marina MABREY after she started getting hot at the beginning of the game. And, well, then all of a sudden, Euskata's hitting a 3, Conde's hitting a 3, Alamon's hitting a 3. And, we're getting threes from other people. And it's like, well, you're coming after her. Well, other people are going to hit threes on our team too. And it was infectious. Marina's great start spread to the whole team. And as I said, that was one of the most perfect starts I've ever seen a basketball team have in any league or any level ever. They didn't miss anything for the first 10 minutes in the game. Nothing. Not a free throw, not a shot, nothing. And that was really impressive. Free throw line, pretty good for the Tempo. 85% at the free throw line, only missing 4 free throws out of 27. Rebounds, we out-rebounded them, guys. 52-30. It's so awesome when you have the proper size players on your team and you're not playing small and you get a +22 in the rebounding department. Euskata on the offensive rebounds. 6 offensive rebounds right there. That's a big part of it. Assist to turnover ratio was top notch. 26 assists to 10 turnovers. Fantastic taking care of the ball. In some ways, I hate to say it, the absence of Sykes has made the team play better team ball. There's not as much gumming it up with isolation, not moving the ball around. And when Brittany comes back, she may have to adjust her game to the way we're playing as a team collective right now. And there may not be the same kind of focus on her as there was before her injury. It may very well be way more balanced. And the time where she got 38-point games, it's not going to exactly be that, because we're a better team when we pass it around and diversify our offense with post and 3-point. So when she returns, she might have to adjust to that in how she plays. She's still going to be a very important weapon and scorer for our team. But I think that Sandy might be like, you know what? We don't want you to just hold the ball and dribble and do it all yourself. You've got to do it off ball. You've got to work on cuts, and we'll get you the ball. Trust us. We'll get it to you. You're going to get scoring opportunities. But the days of you just holding the ball and dribbling around and creating your shot in isolation or trying to beat the team by yourself are over, because we're starting to build that team chemistry and the trust between our players. So that in the beginning, it makes sense. You go heavy on MABREY and Sykes on their personal individual talent to get scoring when the team's orienting themselves and learning each other. But as the season goes on and better teamwork is cultivated, you got to stop just relying on isolation, spam your $1 million backcourt. And that's going to be the change when Sykes comes back. She's going to have to understand this. So yeah, fast break points, 20 fast break points for the Tempo. Points in the paint, 38-36 for the Tempo also. Very fairly called game, honestly. There was a lot of fouls on Atkins early, and that kind of shaped things for the Sparks very early. The people were not happy with the refs. I felt like they did a good job. Gerda Gatling, very fantastic. Angel, was it Angel? No, it was Teresa Stuck and Tony Patillo, and they were fine too. It's kind of funny to watch Teresa Stuck listen to their coach, Roberts, because it's like one ear out the other. Roberts is just complaining to her and going like this and like, bleh, and Teresa Stuck's kind of just like, yeah, like that. No, I thought they did a good job. Gerda Gatling goes to 2-0 with our team on the ref report sheet. and the other 2 get their first win with us, going to 1 and 2. So yeah, it's one of the most epic wins in the short history of the Toronto Tempo. Once again, we're getting these historic, amazing things like Marina against Connecticut last week. And now this is probably the biggest game so far of the season. The Sparks' huge win by 28 points over LA. This is a huge win for the Tempo. That's the box score and going over it real quick. I know I did a delay on it. I started earlier and then I was like, oh crap, you didn't finish your stars of the game. So you got it done right there. That's right. Mr. Greg saying, take care, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to catch up on 3 hours and I'll be done soon in a second. Let's see. G saying this, if draft picks are so overvalued, we would not have Scotty and Colin. Yes, some are overvalued, but our front office knows how to draft. I think there's also a way of doing it where you're thinking about the years you're competing. You know, that pick that got Scotty was very valuable because of the Tampa year. We were really bad and we got some lottery luck and moved up to 4. And then we struck huge gold by getting Barnes instead of Suggs. It's kind of like the timing with how your team's doing in the regular season. You know, trading a first round pick when you're a top team, well, that's a late first round pick in some ways. But if you've been bad, like we were in Tampa, and that pick is more valuable because it's a lottery pick, that's the difference. In some ways, you can figure that all out and time it with what you're doing in the standings as far as what your value with your picks are. I mean, some teams fail at this. Teams that think that they're going to be very good and they trade their first round pick away because they think they're going to be very good, and then they're horrible. And then another team gets a really good, awesome pick from your misery of being bad that year. Like Indiana, that happened this year with Indiana, right? Indiana lost their pick and it went to like Oklahoma City or something like that, or it was Clippers or something like that. And, you know, that's the thing. You know, you kind of gauge your first round picks and things by your standings and where you are in the league as far as your record. That's part of it right there. G saying Spurs built a finals team with draft picks. Yeah, but how many years were they bad to build this up? Seriously, they were really bad. Like, you know, they had one playoff appearance when DeMar was there, and that was the first year he showed up. And then every year after that, since our championship, they've been bad until this year. So they got those first round picks from losing a lot to get Wemby and Castle and Harper and that crew. But they're not going to be losing anymore. And that pipeline to get those picks is not going to be happening anymore because they're going to be getting late first round picks now because they're going to be at the top of the league. That's what it is right there. That's what it is right there. Chloe saying, I hope we sign a bunch of centers in the summer league roster, getting them big guys in the pipeline. Once again, people that show up for summer league are not in the pipeline because they're not held on to. They're just guys who show up for the opportunity. And, you know, there's not enough spots. You know, these guys will show up, they'll get seen, and, you know, maybe Brandon Carlson kind of thing happens. Like, oh, this guy's good. Let's bring him to training camp. But then there's a whole other level you got to get through that preseason and training camp and be like one of the final cuts before the final roster. And then you did make the team after all. You know, that stuff happens all the time. There's levels to this. The pipeline is not actually even a pipeline. In some ways, you can't make that argument that 905 is even the pipeline anymore because we've seen where our two ways went from that team, Sar and Reese and Roddy. Those guys went to other teams on, you know, the whole G League is a pipeline for every team. We could get anybody from anywhere, and that's what it is. And we can't just look at 905 and say, oh, these are our guys in the pipeline, because that's not true unless they're on a two-way. That's the only way that they're not in the pipeline. I mean, they are in the pipeline is if they're on a two-way, because that's actually designated. Yeah, they're coming here. Everybody else is doing stuff. They're free to pick up by the Cavs, the Nuggets, and the Wizards. And that's what happened this year. So, yeah, G's saying they signed a 7-footer on a 10-day. His last name is Biddle. Yeah, and he's going to Summer League. And he may play for the Raptors Summer League team for 5 games and never, ever does anything for our team ever again. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. Let's see. Kaloy's saying, yeah, the big dude with a mullet. He seems to have a 3-point shot. Hope he works out. We need 2 more. Yeah, I'm going to get y'all's hopes up. Seriously. Kaloy's saying, Bobby, if you're watching, give Kai Soto a chance. He's looking for a summer league spot. I would love that. I think that in some ways he's got on some list where he can't be in the NBA or something. I don't understand it. Shaq Lindsay saying, Seymour, there's always one X that shows you things you have never experienced before that you wouldn't mind going back to. Yeah. There's always the one that got away. And you're kind of like, man, if I just not made that dumb mistake, I maybe still be around this person. And man, we had good times. Yeah. The one that got away. That's what you got to remember, Seymour. You got to remember the one that got away. KT saying you missed a bunch of comments after mine. I kind of wanted about Kawhi, but these others, I me as well. I don't understand your English there. That's weird. All right, you're saying I missed a bunch of comments. I don't know which one. This is a really long stream already, Kareem. If anybody has a comment that I missed and they really care about me reading it, just write it in again, because I'm not going to audit the comments. The comments are extremely long today. And to me, to try and find that spot, it's like a needle in a haystack. And I am approaching 3 hours. So if there's something that somebody's dying to say that I glossed over, just please rewrite it at the end of the comments right now. That's what I say. Even for one night, Shaq Lindsay, you want to see that person just for one more night, the one that got away. Shaq wants his ex for one more night. Yeah, that's funny. All right, Kaloy saying the most likely to happen is we run it back with the starters, and BI, IQ, and RJ and Yak will have an axe to grind, improve tremendously. Scotty, having tasted playoff superstardom, will continue his ascent. Yeah, Scotty's not trying to stop growing and getting better. His whole thing about this offseason, get stronger is what he's saying. And I'm sure to improve his shot even more and more. I'll bet you there's a lot of work on his midi and what he's doing in the middle of the court. I bet you there's a lot of stuff there that he's working on. We know Scott's working with Brian Macon and improving himself this offseason. He's not wasting his time. That's right. Anybody know how long BI's surgery recovery will take? Hopefully he will have enough time to work on improvements. Yeah, they said that he might be fully healed in the middle of July, because he did it right away as soon as the season ended. And if you think about it, if it's like a 2 or 3 month recovery, he can have part of July, August, and September into October to get ready and up to speed for the team. That's what they reported initially when they announced that he did the surgery, that he would be fully healed by July, and he will have a runway into the season to build up. Seymour saying this, I'm sure that was a mistake timing out, Smooth Brown Man. I don't know. Did somebody get timed out? I don't know what happened. Did somebody time out Smooth Brown Man? Let me see. Where is it? Man, moderators, don't be hitting extra keys and stuff like that. Seriously, where is Smooth? Did Smooth lose his spot? I know he had comments earlier. There he is. Okay. Trevor J, what are you doing, man? Stop pocket dialing BS like this. Unhide user on this team. View deleted comments. Stop pocket dialing, Trevor. I'm going to take away your ability to do that if you keep doing this every once in a while. Seriously. All right, let me see. Seymour is laughing at Shaq. What's Kiki's status? They don't really tell us. They say they're going to be reevaluated in a couple weeks. That's all. They basically said this, Stargate, that Kiki Rice and Slim Sykes are both expected to return this season and play more games still. That's the only thing they've said. It's not a season-ending injury. They're just saying that they should be back at some point this season. So I don't know. I don't know how soon it could be. There's been some talk that Kiki's ankle sprain got worse afterwards, and she's actually regressed instead of progressed. But I don't know what the information from the Tempo camp is not very good yet. This is the first year, and we don't really have our Blake Murphy or our Josh Lewenberg. Chelsea, you're not doing the right work for this completely. You need to be more on it and every day, and really asking these questions and getting them answered for the fans. The official word is they're going to be reevaluated in a couple weeks. That's what it is. So let's see. Seymour saying a fling from Pickering wanted me to hold it down and pick a ring. Oh my gosh. Weak bars. Sorry. Oh my gosh. That sounds like you could put a little samba beat behind it and it could be on Drake's album. Seriously. That sounds like a rhyme he could do. It's cheesy enough. Seriously. You know he would do that rhyme. You know he would. Let me see if I can do it in Drake's way. A fling from Pickering wanted me to hold it down and pick a ring. That's stupid, man. That is so dumb. Oh my gosh. Hitting jumpers, listening to chat is super relaxing in the AM. There you go. 1 in 11 surge. All right, let's check in on our CBL. There was no game last night. So we're just previewing tonight. If you're in Montreal, you can go see Canadian Elite Basketball League action. It's going to be the Montreal Lions hosting the two-time champion River Lions. 7:30 p.m. is the tip-off. You can watch the game on YouTube for free or CBL Plus or CBC Gem. And they also have it on RDS for the French viewers. So, yeah, Montreal, Niagara, CBL action tonight. That's what's going on right there. That's right. Isaac saying KL2 Aspire LLC over Kawhi. All right, Trevor saying OKC trade Isaiah Joe to you did this again, Trevor. You know what? I'm timing you out. You went and timed smooth out, and that's wrong. You're going to timeout for 24 hours, Trevor. Actually, we can't make it 24 hours. So we'll make it 30 minutes. You did exactly what I asked you not to do earlier this week. Just now, somebody else broke that news already. We already covered Isaiah Joe going to Detroit, and you stepped away from the channel for a while, and now you come back in and you're trying to bring me this? No, somebody already talked about this. We talked about this an hour ago. So you're timed out, Trevor. And that's payback for you timing out Smooth Brown Man in a pocket dial. Seriously, man, get it together. You're going to try and help me do this channel and direct it. You got to stay here and listen to the show. You can't keep leaving and missing parts of the show and then bringing this in like you're bringing me the news. It's not news to me. We already talked about this an hour ago. And why did you time out Reggie is what I want to say. Why would you do that to him? He's a great Raptor freak. Come on now. G saying, I would not give away picks for a much older player. A young star is different. If Kawhi resigns in 2 years, then the Raptors have to trade young assets to build out the team. This is what I would say. You don't have any long-term plans with Kawhi. The window is at the most 3 years. You don't. You say, all right, you want to do this, this contract and this extension, we're going to pay you, and you're only going to play here for 2 or 3 years, and that's it. You only here for 1 year. We don't need you for a huge window. We only want you here for this little short period of time, and that's it. We don't want you hanging around. We don't want you lingering around afterwards after you're not as effective. You get this contract, you fulfill it, and you're out, and that's it. We're not going any further. In fact, we ain't doing no wine and dine and trying to wine you and dine you back. You are just going to leave. This is the end of it. That's it. You're too old at this point. That's how I would treat it. Yeah, you can come back, but there's an expiration, and there's no aspiration either. That's what I'm saying. That's right. That's right. Second round picks would be the exception. Yeah. Yeah. It's just annoying because I asked Trevor specifically, stop trying to breaking news at the end of the show. You can have it at the beginning of the show, bring it all in the beginning. But if you leave the show for a period of time and you're not hearing what other people are bringing me during the show, you're just adding a duplication and circling back and making my time go longer because I'm talking about it. Crofters, organic strawberry jam. This is a straight goods on Canadian goods product. This is the jam I buy. I don't buy Smuckers. I don't buy any American products. And this is Crofters, a straight up Canadian jam. If you see this jam company at your grocery store or wherever you buy stuff, this is what you guys want to buy because this is supporting Canada. Crofters is an amazing company, and they are out of, I believe they're out of, the owners were out of Germany, and they moved to North America, and I think they're out of Perry Sound is where they started this company. So yeah, Crofters is a fantastic organic jam company, and they are my straight goods on Canadian goods product for today. So try some Crofters, all kinds of the regular flavors of jam. They got them. Go check it out. Seriously, there's your straight goods. Going through the rest of it, yeah. Kaloy saying Wine and Dine only 50% off now. I've seen that graphic online too. It's pretty funny. Let's do the Raptors Redder of the day is Champion Times 8099. And he is taking note of Alan Graves' Instagram account, full followers difference in just 48 hours since the Raptors drafted him. Alan had about 3,700 followers on Instagram before the Raptors drafted him. And then since then, he's got almost 12,000. And it's probably risen even higher at this point. Seriously. So that's the effect. This happens all the time with players that get involved with the Raptors all of a sudden, whether it's through the draft or trade. They all of a sudden get a huge following. It happened for the Tempo players too. They came to Toronto and all of a sudden, whoa, all my socials are blowing up. I'm getting an increase of thousands of new fans following me. And well, Alan Graves had that bump. And well, he went from just under 4,000 to just under 12,000 in a matter of 48 hours. That's just how it works. That's just how it is. That's Raptors life right there. Y'all set up your WNBA fantasy teams. Make sure that you got your lineup set up this week so far. Meredith is winning. Kaz is winning. Fiercey, the undefeated, is winning. Jamie is winning. And I am winning. Those are the teams that are winning right now at this point. Wait, this is crazy. Smoking Aces has put Marina Mabrey up to trade. I think this guy's trying to strike while the iron is hot. He's seen the game last night, and Smoking Aces is say, y'all, I'll trade Marina Mabrey right now for anybody. He's listening to offers. That's such a cool move. I love that he did that. Thank you for joining the WNBA Fantasy League and doing that the day after Mabrey got 53. That's hilarious. There's no birthdays today, unfortunately, guys. No birthdays a note today. That's right. Yeah, Stargate saying Crawford is very good. It's organic, so you got to use it quickly. It spoils fast. Most real stuff does, though, because it doesn't have the preservatives. That's right. Although, that's if you open it. It's kind of like preserves are preserved in the preserve of the jar. But if you open it up, you better eat it then because it's exposed. But if it's sealed and you got it somewhere in the pantry, you can't actually keep preserves for a while without opening it. That's what it is. Yeah, not with all those poisonous preservatives. Yeah, why does McDonald's food not age? You have a McDonald's cheeseburger from a year ago sitting on your counter. It looks the same as when you bought it the year before. You got to question that. You got to question that. That's for sure. All right, let's go. Classic card of the day. Let's see what we get today. Let's see what the card is. Okay, yeah, we'll do this one. All right, this is an interesting card because it's well, I won't tell you why. We'll just see if you guys can figure it out. All right. First person to write the full name answer of the player that is on this card will get the classic card points. So here we go. Do y'all know who this player is? They're a Knicks player in this picture. Who is that, though? It's hard to see their face. I can bring it in as close as possible. I want to see Allen Houston. That is not right. This player played for the Knicks before Allen Houston played for them, which is puts it way back there. It's the Fleer card from a certain point. Yeah, this person is not really known for playing on the Knicks. That's right. Stargate figured it out. This is the great Dallas Mavericks legend, Rolando Blackman. Late in his career, he did go to New York and play for the Knicks. And that is who is on the card. There, you can see him way better on the back. If I showed this side first, y'all would have gotten it right away for sure. Of course, Rolando Blackman is still involved in the Mavericks and the broadcast. And that is exactly right. Stargate got it first. Reggie, you questioned it, but you were right. It is Rolando Blackman. Stargate, it's a 100-point card because he is an all-star and somebody who's familiar, but the card was not totally easy to see. And he was also on a weird team for him in his career. So Stargate will get 100 points added to his trivia score. He's on the sheet for this season now, getting into the scoring. It's very wide open trivia so far. It's like we just started. And so if you really want to get off on the right foot for the season, you're going to be trying to get those classic cards. And we'll be playing trivia next Tuesday for the first time in this new season. So show up on the 30th and play some Rapid Freak Tuesday trivia. That's right. Stargate, 100 points for the classic card. You're late, Slug Deezy. Yeah. You don't see Stargate's answer, only mine. Well, make sure you're not on top chat only because he is ahead of you on my board. It says Allen Houston from Isaac, and then Stargate says Rolando Blackman, and then you say Rolando Blackman with a question mark, and then Slug Deezy answers also. So, yeah, he played with Derek Harper in Dallas and Mark Aguirre. That's right. And Adrian Dantley, too. And Brad Davis and James Donaldson. and Roy Tarpley. And who's another one from way back then? Did he play with Popeye? He might have played with Popeye Jones too. I think he played with Popeye. That's right. That's right. All right, y'all. I guess I'll wrap it up because I got through my tabs and I think we're good. All right, let's see. Fantastic historic night for the Toronto Tempo. Marina Mabrey 53, tying the career high, the game high for any WNBA player in a game. I kind of wish she had gone and got more. If she got the extra 3 and gotten 10 3-pointers, wow, break that record. The Tempo breaking the record for most points in a WNBA regulation game with 125. No team has ever scored that many points in a regulation game in the WNBA's history. We should be proud of that, Tempo fans. Julie Alamon, perfect game, 14 assists, 0 turnovers, shot perfect from the field. That's a huge accomplishment right there. And we got 2 more double-doubles in 2 games in a row now. We've had our 3 double-doubles in the history of the Tempo from Isabel, Laura, and Julie. So there's a lot of cool stuff that happened from the game last night. You know, we could have gotten outright records, but we didn't. We left them on the table, but we're still there and we're involved in it. And if there was any kind of payback for LA, for Kobe's 81, in some ways with Marina's 53, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The official results of the poll is Leonard, yes, 64%, 36% no. So I guess in some ways, maybe some of my logic and reasoning of talking about it made sense to you guys. It did. I don't think it's likely it's going to happen. But if it did, I wouldn't fight it and I wouldn't be upset about it because there's a proven track record with Leonard in Toronto. And we'd be crazy not to try and revisit it, even if he's a little more broken down and older than he was when he was here before. Either way, I'm ending the poll right here and I'm ending the stream very much also. I appreciate everybody watching me today. This was awesome. Yeah, Isaac's saying, yeah, same. I don't see Stargate's comment either. Go YouTube. Well, I don't know why. Once again, I would tell you guys at the top with the tabs, make sure that it doesn't say top chat only and switch it to live chat because it says top chat. There are certain people that may have showed up late and it excludes their comments on your screen, but they're actually there. They're actually there. In some ways, once again, I'll say it. I can see Daddy Gates 8290 on my screen. If you guys can't see his comments, then it means you're probably on top chat. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, we'll preview the big game at Scotiabank Arena. It's a Pride Day game in the afternoon where the Toronto Tempo will play Phoenix Mercury in the Raptors building. And we'll hopefully get almost 20,000 people in there for the game. I'll have the latest lineup news and the ref report tomorrow. Hopefully, maybe we'll have an update on Kiki and Slim. A little bit more clear on that. But, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow 9:30 as always. Let's go, Marina. Yeah. Take it easy on them, Marina Mabrey. Jeez, wow. She's such a talent. What's an amazing player. She is a savant. That's what I say. She's an offensive savant. Let's go.